Kesh Foundation, an independent, non-profit, non-religious, space-based organization founded by nuclear engineer Mehran Tavakoli Kesh, is introducing to humanity the science of the universe, plasma science. Kesh Foundation develops universal knowledge and space technologies that provide solutions to major global problems, revolutionizing agriculture, health, energy, transportation, materials, and more. The application of plasma science in the form of specially developed plasma reactors and other devices will give humanity the real freedom to travel in deep space. Plasma science exists throughout the whole universe. It is here and it belongs to you. Our knowledge, research, and development regarding the plasma structure has progressed to the point of enabling everyone to participate in the process. Become a creator and understand the work of the universe for the good of humankind on this planet as well as in space. The use of megravs, nanomaterials, GANs, liquid plasma, field plasma, and other plasma technologies have come as a new dawn for humanity to progress and work in harmony with the universe. Conventional technology applications are wasteful, damaging, and cause pollution to the planet and all living beings. Plasma science provides solutions and improves existing methods and use of resources in all aspects that touch the lives of all beings. Plasma is defined by the Foundation as an entire content of fields which accumulate and create matter and is not defined by its physical characteristics like ionization or temperature. Also, with plasma science, we understand how we can convert matter back to the fields. Quoting from Mr. Kesh, MEGRAV stands for magnetic gravitational, which means plasma absorbs or gives. And every plasma has the both. It has give and it has take. And when they can't find the balance, they distance themselves until they find the balance they can give to the others. That they can receive what they want to receive and give further. Certain atoms and molecules release and absorb magnetic or gravitational fields. Released fields are available to be absorbed by other objects. The Kesh Foundation has developed a way to gather these free-flowing fields from the environment within a resourceful and beneficial new state of transitional matter, which MT Kesh named GANs. The first step of the process of the formation of various basic types of GANs is nano-coating metals. This is carried out either chemically by etching, steam coating with sodium hydroxide, or thermally by heating, fire coating by gas burner. During either coating process, gaps between outermost layers of atoms are created. The residual coating is often referred to as nano-coating, defined by the structured layers of nanomaterial, which build up during the creation process of the coating. Nano-coated metal in interaction with other various metal plates in a saltwater solution creates megrav fields. These fields then attract available elements to form a specific GANs, which collects and settles at the bottom of the container. This GANs is formed from independent energized molecules like little suns that can be used in various applications.
The Kesh Foundation is extending an invitation to medical doctors of any practice and specialty to apply to the Foundation's private weekly medical teaching workshop. This includes medical doctors, dentists, and veterinarians. Scientists of the Kesh Foundation developed different types of plasma therapies and cures that utilize advanced, non-invasive plasma technology. The weekly private medical teaching workshop educates doctors to the plasma science behind the therapies, along with the functionality and operation of revolutionary plasma medical devices. The goal of the private teachings is to add plasma health knowledge to the profound knowledge of medical doctors. The weekly class is broadcast live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central European Time. Presently, the class is only offered in English. However, you are free to bring a translator to the class. If you can't participate in the live broadcast, you can watch them later at your convenience through a private internet portal. Every patient's case that is discussed in the workshop will be kept anonymous and private. This includes cataloged findings and data gained from the analysis of the patient's health issues. Any medical doctor in the world who wants to participate can do so by sending an email to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. In your email, please state your willingness to participate in the medical teaching workshop. If you're planning on bringing a translator to the workshop, please state this in your email as well. After we receive your email, we will contact you with the instructions on how to apply to the workshop. As a part of the application process, applicants who apply, including any translators brought into the workshop, will be required to sign the Keshe Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. All applicants will be required to provide proof of their education and ability to practice medicine, and will also be required to pass an extensive security background check before they are granted access to the teaching workshop. Healthful plasma technology is here, now, the use of which is increasing exponentially on a day-to-day basis on every continent. We encourage you to come and learn about this revolutionary technology. Apply today. The Keshe Foundation is extending an invitation to experienced farmers, agricultural specialists, and researchers to apply to the Foundation's private weekly agriculture teaching workshops. If you fall into one of these categories and are interested in plasma technology integration into agriculture, you're invited to apply. Scientists and agricultural practitioners of the Keshe Foundation continually develop and apply new methods of food and fiber production, soil fertility management, plant and livestock health management, and increased farm productivity using the most advanced plasma technology that is taught at the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. In the teaching workshop, you'll learn the science of plasma technology and its applications in the field of agriculture for enhanced and equitable global food production while minimizing costs and external inputs. Practicing farmers and Keshe Foundation scientists will demonstrate their application of plasma technology in agriculture and the ensuing results of such applications, thus deepening and enriching learning for all participants in the private teachings. Participants are encouraged to demonstrate their farming practices in the teaching workshop. The private teachings are broadcast in English live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central European Time. If necessary, you may bring a translator to the workshop. All applications are required to provide proof of their education and professional qualifications, must pass a security background check, and are required to sign the Keshe Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. Translators that attend must also pass a security check and sign the World Peace Treaty. For details on how to join the private teachings in agriculture, send an email to agriculture@kfssi.org stating that you'd like to participate. Include in the email your education and agricultural experience and reasons for your interest in plasma technology. Applicants will be contacted with further instructions and details on the application process.
Welcome, everyone, to the 178th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute for Thursday, June 29th, 2017. The title for today's workshop is Blueprint for Peace for Humanity. And I understand today's workshop will be in several sections, and I think Mr. Keshe is ready to tell us more about that. Are you there, Mr. Keshe? Perhaps we have a connection issue there. Is that true? We've lost the connection with Mr. Keshe, or is he there?
Yes, good morning.
Oh, hi. Okay.
Hi, I had no microphone to switch on. Thank you very much indeed. Good morning, good day to you as usual, wherever you listen to these teachings of Knowledge Seekers. As you are aware, we have as we did the blueprint for Islamic world in what we saw, following those works and what it has to enlighten, we have come to understand there is a time for the final push for the world peace. There are a number of things which we discuss, and then as we have seen, a number of situations have risen that it has to be clarified before we go for a blueprint for peace for humanity. One situation is, as we asked you and as the supporters of the Keshe Foundation, a number of you turned up in a court in Kortrijk on Monday. The court case has gone fully in the favor of the Keshe Foundation, the way we wanted it. I will explain this in one section. The section 2 is what the Universal Council has decided with the publication of the book called The Soul of the Man, which I always said when the book The Soul of Man been written will be the final book, and this is the time of the maturity of the man. So we have reached that point and we understand more. So that'll be what I call the second part. The third part will be, as we said, the blueprint for peace. And then if we have time, we start teaching in a very different direction, but still to do with the soul of the man. In the past few weeks, very quietly, we've been, me and Caroline, working in defending the foundation and ourselves. As you are aware, we escaped out of Belgium before being killed. We've been more or less shotgun tracked on the motorway. We claimed to the police file disappeared. My car was blown up with a remote bomb. Pieces disappeared. Complained to the police, nowhere going. We were harassed on a weekly, monthly basis in our home in Belgium. No police action was taken. These are well as part of the harassment and the threat to kill and everything else. The man behind this structure is Mr. Delannoy, the man who piled up the case in the court. The man who incited as part of internally Mr. Lauressens, now we have seen him, there is no denial that he's part of the structure of the Police of Belgium and Belgium government structure. When we said it, it was question marks on it. We tried for nearly 10 years to defend ourselves from all the attacks by the police, by structure of the Belgium. We went to Italy, we got more attacked, poisoned, but again the same structure. When Mr. Delannoy was sure that I'll die in 2014, harassment stopped for 6 months because they thought we'd done their job. The man John has poisoned him, is killed. And then suddenly he appeared when they're killing him, when I did not die. Then we saw them killing Fabio. Next Thursday is the anniversary of his passing. We tried for nearly 10-12 years to bring prosecution against this organized team of criminals, Mr. Lauressens, Delannoy, and for the first time we revealed what has been in the file of the police of Italy, the prosecutor of Belgium. We informed the prosecutors of other districts. We went to the chief of prosecutors of Belgium. They said we cannot do anything because he is on his own and he does what he likes. So we had no choice. We had to wait. The gift came to us when they summoned us to appear in court on the basis of a scam in taking money, on the basis of practicing medicine, and we went to court some 4 weeks ago, and then the judge allowed the hearing last Monday. We are fully aware of the operation. If you go back, the pattern of the work has been Mr. Lauressens steals patents, then the police threaten, harasses the inventor, they poison him, as we've seen has died, the guy with the cube. And then when you go to the prosecutor, the whole circle is come. The prosecutor files the case away, as we have seen in the press regarding the man who made the cube. We could not let this opportunity go. Now that the prosecutor, who's the part of the, is written in the police report of Italy 3-4 years ago, that this is a circle, the police, the criminal, and the prosecutor working together in literally harassing and putting people away or killing them. We were waiting for the opportunity. Now we've seen Mr. Lorenz going and putting in the paper, in the, what do you call it, his chat line, that we are criminals, we're going to be sued. And then, as we saw, the prosecutor has asked for 30 months imprisonment for me, for deception and fraud and practicing medicine, and 24 months for Caroline. We need that prison sentence. We need the judgment to come. But our tactic and technique with our lawyers and advisors was two ways. We handled the case very clearly. We handled the case that, first of all, we submitted the documents from the police of Italy and the police of Belgium, which has never been acted upon as the harassment and killing, and confirming that Mr. Delannoy has been part of this structure. So the policeman who has made the file for the court in Belgium, he himself is part of killing me and trying to kill me and Caroline and our son and finally Fabio for past 10 years. So we took advice by European Court of Justice. They told us, you carry on with the file. We'll see what comes up. What came out was very clear. That is, for the first time, we have opened the hand of a criminal section, the police, the prosecutor, and the criminal himself, Mr. Lorenz and the rest of it. We needed to have them in a package. I triggered the button last week. You don't know Mr. Lorenz, I know him very well. So we wanted him to register himself as part of the criminal gang, plus that he connects it to what we gave to the police of Italy 3 years ago, his attempted murder of me and Caroline with poisoning. And he did exactly. I told you, the soul takes you in. And he stood and made all sorts of claims that his hand is this, he wants €1. So €1 has brought him into the criminal justice court, which we want him. What we needed is, the fact is now that the judge has been given all the documents of the Italian investigation by the police. If you go back and read what Mr. Lorenz put on his webpage 2 or 3 weeks ago, that it shows the first page of the court.
Eric, he must have been fallen out of internet. He will be back in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Caroline. I think this is the document that he's talking about.
No, I said he must have lost connection. He will be back maybe in a minute.
Yeah, I heard that. I think that the screen share that's up now is the document he was talking about, I believe, that he wanted to share. Okay, we should have the audio back from Mr. Kesh shortly here. Bear with us as we continue with the show.
The letter disappeared, Rick.
Yeah, I'm just showing the spaceship background for now, for until he comes back.
I think he's back.
Okay.
Hello, I'm back.
Hello, Mr. Kesh.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
They are monitoring our lines, trying to interrupt because they know what we've done and what we are doing is important because of the way it has been put on the press of Mr. Lorenz. So what has happened is that Mr. Lorenz went out to the court and against all the court rules, he published his thing that, but he didn't tell you two things. He reported the prosecution has asked for 30 months of imprisonment for me, but what he did not tell you is that the prosecutor who has asked for this sentence, he is under investigation of murder attempts and murder of Fabio. This is what we did not release in public, and they thought is not known. What we did with the advice of the International Court, somebody's switch is open. Can you switch please the microphone off? Hello, somebody's microphone is open. So what we did with the advice of the International Criminal Court, because we filed our case in 2014 against Mr. Delanois, the prosecutor of Kortrijk, and Mr. Loresens, and John Skelton, and the other people, and the royal family of Belgium. The fact was that now the judge has to make a request from Italian police. There is evidence of conflict of interest. The police officer which is trying to prosecute with the prosecutor, Mr. Cash and Mrs. Cash, he himself is under investigation for murder and attempted murder of the people he's investigating, which is a criminal offense. So the judge, if he's a correct judge, has to dismiss the case. And this is the worst scenario for us. Even though we asked the judge, this is a technicality, those of you who are not aware of the European system, you have to go to court to get the first judgment that you can bring the wrongdoers in their position, then it's a governmental criminal act. In Europe, you cannot take the government to criminal courts. It's very difficult. It costs millions. And we tried to get the police into court. The prosecutor who's not asking for prosecution has blocked it because he's part of the game. So we had to allow them to start the case. We've been waiting for this case over 10 years, and now they started it. Now we don't have to pay millions of dollars to bring a case, and we don't need to ask a prosecutor because the prosecutor has already started the prosecution. So in reality, they did us the biggest favor, and we pushed Mr. Loresens to put himself in the criminal line, and he did. This is a stupidity. So now we have two options. The judge will crush the case because of what we have from Italian court, and the police report which has gone missing, we have copies of it in Belgium. So Mr. Delanois will be arrested and he'll be put into prison. We take him to the court. If the judge says the case is dismissed, and Mr. Loresens will follow with him and the prosecutor, because the allegations, what has happened, it means the judge has accepted that the police officer has lied, wasted the time, is perjury. Perjury is long-term imprisonment in Europe. So this is the worst scenario case for us, because now having this case, we have to start a whole court case in the European Court of Justice and the higher courts in Belgium. What we are looking for is to be convicted. Even if I'm given 6 months prison sentence, if I'm even given $10,000 damages or whatever, we need this. Because this starts the legal procedure in the European Court of Justice that we go to the appeal, and then we take from the appeal to European Court of Justice. But there is one intriguing question. In our submission for defense, we have put the King of Belgium as part of the operation of murdering a scientist. So automatically the King will be called into court. He's been allegation, as they say it is, being involved in the murder of scientists, initiating it. We have pictures of him. We can record and prove by the palace's books that they are involved. So those of you who see that Mr. Loresens has put they are being convicted, and we've been looking for this for 12 years. How many of you have had guns at your head, pushing you down the motorway, blowing your car up, poisoning you and your child while you're teaching? How many of you have lost the closest guy to you by being murdered, that by murdering him they can pull you up and kill you? We've been through all of it. The prosecutor who's given this is part of the structure. You have to go back. We tried to tell you this before. Go back on facts about Dirk. Mr. Dirk has done the same thing when he stole the cube. It's on the press in Antwerp, it's on the site, go and read it. When the gentleman made a claim to the prosecutor dismissed the case because they are working, this is the cell they work. the police, the thief, and the prosecutor, and they share the loot. According to his estimate, he's made $40 million out of the cubes, shared between all the criminals. This could not be proven up to now in anywhere. Now we have the prosecutor in standing up and asking for such a judgment, and the judge told him, sir, you're asking for too much for such a little offense, 30 months and the rest. We're waiting for the judge to do a favor for us. I am looking to be sentenced because it gives me a chance to take to the next level and bring it and put it in the Court of European Court of Justice that for good we uproot this criminal gang out of Belgium and people can live a good life. This is what it is. We kept quiet deliberately. Carol and I, we stayed very calm because this to you is a criminal offense. This to us is freedom. Freedom from the hand of the most heinous man on this planet, Mr. Lorenz. He goes to China and tells people, my life is back because of Mr. Cash. We got witnesses. You put them on the stand. And then he goes to court. He says, all damage is done to me is because of Mr. Cash, because now he gets €1 plus his colleagues. We've seen him dictating to the police what to do. It shows his level of rank in the criminal structure of the police. So please read it, understand it, and understand what we have done to protect the Cash Foundation. There is no scam because everything we done is registered, we submitted to the court. We defended our case for the case to be, to be rejected. Because if it wasn't rejected, we had to have defense. So for everything they told us a scam, we're given evidence there is no scam. Everything is contracted. No case of health has ever been touched without signing them, contacting their doctors or lawyers before signing a 6-page contract. And strange enough, the contract is written by Mr. Lorenz. So now you see the scale of what we have been involved in, what we stood for the whole foundation to stand. We need, it's essential for us, for the judge to sentence me to a prison sentence, that I have to appeal, through appeal, to dismiss, uproot the judges, the prosecutor and the police out of the circle of the Belgian police, which are killing scientists. To you, I've seen an article, Mr. Cash is going to be sentenced. We are asking for it. I've never seen a criminal asking for it, because now we have enough evidence that Mr. Delanois, now stupid walking in there and putting himself, now he brought himself officially as a criminal in, up to now was allegation, now he's put himself in. And then the prosecutor, for asking for such a stupid sentence, has shown to be part of what we said. In our letter to European Court of Justice, June 2014, we have stated this is a triad of prosecutors pressurizing, not letting cases to come, because we were under that case. So please, judge, please, Mr. Delanois, I know you're listening. You made the biggest mistake in your life putting this case together, because at the end of the day, the judgment comes on you. We have, and we are bringing American top lawyer, criminal lawyers into the Court of Belgium. We are taking this all the way into the European Court of Justice. And with it, we'll take what we said from the beginning. Mr. Delanois, 25 years imprisonment for you is not enough. And the prosecutor. And Mr. Lorenz, you thought you were very clever writing, write everywhere. I am asking to be sentenced in the court. And the most worst thing for you is the judge to say the case is dismissed. If the case is dismissed, means what we said to the court, there is a collaboration, collusion, conspiracy by the police and the prosecutor, and they'll be arrested immediately, plus Mr. Lorenz. We cannot lose. There is no way we lose. We consulted European Court of Justice lawyers. They planned it for us. We consulted top lawyers. They planned it for us. We took one of the top lawyers in Belgium, coincidentally, has been our lawyer for 15 years. Our lawyer is our friend. Is not somebody we brought in, because we had to bring a lawyer we could trust, they could not intimidate. And the people who went to court, they said, oh, he didn't do anything, he just gave some papers. Those 4 or 5 papers, which our lawyer has handed over to judge, it forces the judge to open the murder of Fabio, the attempted murder and poisoning of me and Caroline in Italy. The paper shows documents going missing in the police of Belgium after attempted murder, which is illegal how it happened. And the others shows I'm a scientist. Everything has been contracted, and in our website says it's a scam if you take money and run. On our website of the Keshe Foundation said, if anybody is not happy with the process, they'll be refunded. We submitted all the refund papers to the court from the bank, that they've been refunded. People come in, they said they have. And then they say it's practicing medicine. We explain it's a plasma technology. It's like changing air, and the judge has to accept. Doesn't accept, we take it to the higher court. I need to be sentenced. I'm more than glad to be sentenced, because with that, we can go. You have to understand the law in Europe. You start from the lowest court in a village, in the town, and then you take your case to the middle court, you appeal to the highest court, and then you take it to the European Court of Justice. You cannot go to the middle court if the bottom court, which is the practicing, just the judge coming in for the first couple of years to the judgment and everything else, to go to a higher court. So we are waiting. We are waiting for an arrest warrant. We are waiting for seizure of the banks. We are waiting for closure of everything they're trying to do, because the more they do, the damages more we can claim. Because we have registered our claim over 4 or 5 years, over 10 years, in the police of Belgium. All documents have been given to the police. We have hospital records of poisoning. Mr. Lorenz, you are in a big, big heap of shit. I hope your hand goes exactly where your brain is. You will have a heart attack. You didn't know how we Iranian play chess game, and you walked in, you're checkmate. You are checkmate beyond, write more. We are suing Facebook, we are suing YouTube, we are suing the papers, the website you are writing for everything you've done. I hope you stole enough, you killed enough people which you tried to kill, that you have enough to pay all the damages. The standard, what you've done, the way you've written, will be taken up in American, European, because your slander is read in America. I sue you in American courts. Your mother will cry for giving birth to such a shit as you. It's the first time we get a chance to clean up. The prosecutor, the judge, imprisoned me, passed the sentence for me to go to prison. I welcome you, because my life has been to serve humanity, and I have to clean up this, that we end up with monarchy in their land. The judge understood. The judge cannot dismiss the case, but the judge has to dismiss the case. He dismisses the case, the policeman who's built it up will end up in prison with the prosecutor, with Mr. Lorenz. The judge passes and ignores our request to set aside a case, will be put aside himself as a judge, because he did not do when he saw the conflict of interest and the deception. So we go to the second court. In our request, we did something very interesting. Every defense we sent to our lawyer, we send a copy to the Belgian embassy in Rome, to the ambassador, and we send a copy to the Belgium Secret Service line of the police. So our lawyers, it's not something we're going to come up with. They have the same evidence as the government has, as the police has, and a copy has gone to European Court of Justice. Now, Mr. Lorenz, you wish you would have never put that on. The slander and accusation, I'll see you in the courts. But I have one bad news for you. I'm an Iranian national. I filed for you in court in Iran, and I'll bring you to Tehran, and the execution for you is 100% for your soul. We keep your body in prison. You thought you're very clever, standing and lying, and it's the way you always worked. Now we showed you the door. I walked you like a shepherd
into your own nest. You deserve to rot in hell. You, Mr. Delanois, and the rest of you. How many scientists you have killed? Mr. Forum, we see his letter. This is what you see on the screen. It's from Antwerp Gazette. This is what they did. The prosecutor would not take it any further because he takes milk of it. In Belgium, prosecutor and criminal police and people like Mr. Lauressens work together. They were so sure that they get this case, and he comes and immediately reports, yes, we wanted, the prosecutor had to stand up to show his hand in accepting and asking. This is the way the legal system works in Europe. Now, we get convicted. This is the best opportunity because we're going to the higher court. If they refuse us to appeal because it's not, it cannot stop, it has to go to an appeal. In our request, we have asked for the King of Belgium to appear in court as part of the murder scene, as part of the structure. So in any way, shape, Mr. Delanois, I know you're listening. I'll bring you a cup of coffee. I know Mr. Lauressens have been filling you up in the back what's going on. There is one request which we would like to make from all the 6-7 people who attend the court. Please, please, you know how to get in touch with Caroline. Send your evidence, what they did do in court, to us, because it's totally criminal to not allow two people in court and taking pictures of you, intimidating. This shows how the whole police force in Kortrijk has to be shut down. I thank you, Dirk. You served your feeble, criminal gang of police and prosecutor. You got away with it with a cube. This time is a crying cube, not a happy cube. I'll put you in a cube, you never see daylight. You don't even deserve to be called a name. Now, please write. I am asking to be sentenced for 30 months. The same is Caroline. Because we need it to discredit the setup. We need it in the European Court of Justice. There is no bullshitting. There is no hiding. There is no president to call. The judge now has to open the case in Italy. We have informed the Italian police that the case has been heard in Kortrijk. The judge has to tell us what's the outcome of his investigation. If we're going to ask for the what we call appeal court, what is the outcome of his investigation? Why hasn't he investigated the Italian police report? So in any case, the name of Delanois and the prosecutor are in the police report of attempted murder of us. He could not, under no circumstances, enter any investigation. So we can see the limit of criminality. And we needed to show, we need those 6-7 people who went to court. Please write a full report how Mr. Lauressens was collaborating with the police and everything else. This is important. A civilian shepherding police is a criminal offense unless he is part of the structure. We need this. 2 of you have already written to us. We need the rest. I thank you, Mr. Lauressens. You brought one of the biggest criminal organizations killing scientists into an end. You were so much in hurry with your guys to show I'm going to get 30 months imprisonment for fraud and deception. No man has ever asked for it. Please ask the judge to pass it because I need it. There was no way. For 10 years I've been trying to bring prosecution against Mr. Delanois. The prosecutor blocked it in every shape or form. Now he cannot because the stupid prosecutor has brought himself to the table of judgment. And he stood to defend it, and the judge has told him, Mr. Delanois, Mr. Lauressens didn't tell you, sir, you're asking for too much for such a little case. Mr. Lauressens forgot to tell you that. We need the judge to give the €1 to Mr. Lauressens as damages, because now, with everything which is on the internet, we will see how much Facebook, YouTube, across the world, and the other organization which support Mr. Lauressens will pay as damages to me and Caroline, and All that will be donated to the Keshe Foundation. Not donated, whatever we earn belongs to you. It'll go into the Keshe Foundation. I hope a child will have facility to have a mother where the cancer system can be used and everything else. We sit very quiet. This is exactly how they did with us when they didn't stop us showing the flying machine, and then they told us to use a nuclear material. All these, this is the way they pressurized me for years. I'm a free man. I stay a free man. And I thank the whole of Keshe Foundation for your stand, for correct, for the science, and everything else which goes with it. I ask the judge for 30-month sentence. If he gives me less, then I have a problem, because the more the sentence, the bigger it is, the more I can push everything into the higher level of the court, and then we take it to United Nations. There should be no one out of Belgium can operate on the Interpol or anyone, because this shows international fraud by the police and prosecutors. So I thank you, Mr. Delanoa. I've been waiting for this court case to be heard, to be closed. We can speak now because the case is closed. And then I thank the prosecutor that you need a prostate prosecuting, because you'll be sitting a long time in prison on your backside. The prostate needs a lot of attention. That's all you are. You're not a prosecutor. You are a criminal. Now we were waiting for you to come up. We said 5 years ago to the European Court of Justice and Interpol that they have a criminal prosecutors in court. They said we need for them to come out, that we can move. Now he has moved. Now we know he's registered himself. Mr. Delanois, you are the most stupid policeman I've ever seen. You're a murderer. All your team you put around, we have kept a track of. Mr. Lauressens, you are the most heinous man on this planet. You're the most criminal man on this planet. And I tell you one thing, you made a very big mistake. You brought your daughter into it, and she's part of the setup. I'll put her in prison with you. I promise you that. If I was that clever to get you here, you have made evidence and references to her, and she is part of criminality because it's her website which calls for children. It's not revenge, it's to stop you to do what it is. I tell you, something was said by somebody very nicely about your court suddenly claiming my hand is damaged. Your hand is damaged this way, and since it was good I saw you, it was when you're raping your own daughter, sir. Or your granddaughter, I should say, because that's your habit. This is you so low that it's disgusting even to discuss. So, members of the Keshe Foundation worldwide, please pray, give from your soul, that we get the judge to give a prison sentence. This is the only way we can take it to a higher court, that we can put these people aside. This is the way the legal system in Europe works. You cannot get a prosecutor to start a case, especially when he's benefited by it, till they take you into court to prosecute you. Then you take your case up to the next level, and that's the time when you take it to international court. And this is the only way to handle this case. There is no other way. Don't read that I'm going to go into 30 years of prison, 30 months of prison, I'm going to be a scammer and whatever. I am as much wrong as all of you who are helping your family with the guns, with the system, and with the energy system and the rest of it. The whole reality is we have given too much time for these criminals to think they're right, and in thinking right, they walk themselves into the biggest trap. If the judge dismisses it, I have a bigger problem, because I have to use the
Hello, Mr. Keshe. I think your microphone may have come undone. We're not hearing you, but your microphone is open. Maybe it's on my end.
He
I
will
think you
be.
dropped out again, Rick.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the audio check there to see if mine got pulled out at this end, which had happened before. Okay, so we might have a break here for another minute or so while Mr. Kesh connects again. So bear with us. Someone had sent was it Cherry Bomb in the Q&A had sent a document. I wonder if I should show it from the court, calling up the court.
Let's just wait for him to come back.
Okay.
He's dead again.
Hello, sorry, I'm back again. We have a problem on the net. So, what it is, my dearest friends, the man who went to destroy everything which Keshe Foundation done for 10 years, we could not do anything in Belgium. They threatened us, they stole from us. He took a patent to China to patent it, and then he was stopped by Armin, and he came back to do other damages. Now he walked himself into the biggest trap he set up himself. And I knew last week when I told him very openly, please, I wish your hand, because then he saw what he called arrogant. He went to the court and he says, my hand is this and that. He entered his name. He's claiming for €1 to go and claim for under 10 million. The Keshe Foundation, as you know, he has a bill for 360,000 for using the website of Keshe Foundation per month. We are enforcing it this week in Belgium. Bailiffs will be at his house to be paying over €10,000 for bailiff to attend. We are pushing with the whole structure of the YouTube, Facebook, and others with the slanders he has picked up. All the pages has been photocopied. And we hope in what we put claim, him and his family are payable. By Belgium law, the children of the father are responsible for the deaths of the father, especially if they are involved in the crime. So if you read, I'm going to get 30 months. I need it. Otherwise, I cannot put these criminals away. We have played the game of law for since 2007-8. I've been trying to put Mr. Delanois out of circle. He blew my car, he got his criminals to shoot at me, and now the stupid thing is, because these are evidence to the court, and the judge has to make, according to the evidence, now become part of the structure for our next case in the next court. Mr. Laurescence, do not wipe anything off the internet and all the people around you. We have photocopied, scanned everything. All the Keshe Foundation supporters, make a backup of all the teachings. If our YouTube, if our Facebook, if our webinar, if our websites get attacked by these people, now they're animals loose, trying to protect themselves, we have to be able to put it back up. Take them on the hard disk, download them and keep them, because these are teachings for human race. I sincerely thank, and in so many ways, there is no other way to thank, there is no other word in English language for the whole team of the Keshe Foundation around us. We've been there, we stood solid, we took a lot of pressure, but now, in so many ways, it's not going to be easy. We have another minimum 8 months to 10 months of appeal ahead of us. We have second appeal, which is going to take another 6 to 12 months, and then we have Court of Justice. Every time they run to a winning, I understand that's out of their desperation. It'll be nice if we can extradite Mr. Laurescence for the crimes he's done against American children to sit with his friend, Mr. Sterling, together in one place. Even though they have a partition between them, they are both will be sentenced to solitary imprisonment the way Sterling is. I thank especially our Chinese people who got frightened by this because they don't understand it, that I'm going to be convicted. We need, by European law, to get to there that we can put them away. We've been trying to start this criminal case for 12 years, but now they started it, we can work on it. Mr. Lorenz, thank you very much for going to court. I told you you made the biggest mistake and I knew exactly how to get you there. Right again, but remember one thing. From this week, our lawyers will start prosecution against you. All your slanders, all your attacks. By the way, I tell you what a piece of shit you are, and I cannot use any other word. I wish you burn to hell. The reason I tell you, you wrote an article about my mother that I did not even attend my mother's funeral. You piece of shit of human being. The day of funeral of my mother, with the criminals I knew in Seoul in the operating room with a broken ankle. You don't even pass a dead woman. How can you have mercy on your daughters? A man's wish is to be on the site of his mother's funeral, not on the bed with a bunch of criminals you sent to Korea with. You're so low. You have no mother. And you deserve it. The funeral of my mother had to be reported to me on mobile phone in the hospital in Seoul. Read it and you understand how low this animal is. I hope you burn in hell. Nothing hurted me more than the shit you wrote about the dead mother of mine. And I hope you burn into beyond and your children in front of you stand and watching it because you have no mother. You don't touch a dead woman's soul. I wish you burn in hell. This is from the man, loving and caring for his mother, not from an animal like you. Now you know how much the rest he writes is the truth. We come back to this case when the verdict goes. We come back to this case when we appeal to the highest court. This case is not going to finish. And please, the translators in different languages, explain this is the law, is done. It's the only way you can get criminal police into justice in Europe. These are organized crimes. This is not rare. It's very common. In China, they execute them. It's the only way a prosecutor who gets benefited by robbery and stealing the technology is there, and the police who assist it, and the rest. This is a mafia system in Europe, works in Belgium. Mr. Lorenz has stolen one in the 1980s. They made a lot of money, so they look for new technologies and do what they've done. That have killed many scientists like me. But this time, you are on it. And don't forget, next time when you write about somebody's mother, remember you have no mother. Maybe your mother wasn't even faithful to your father. You don't know who he is. That is the level of lowness you have got to. So, thank you very much. There is a word for people like you. And I can tell you one thing, you don't even deserve that. We wait for the appeal. We wait for the court judgment. We expect a lot of attacks on us in every shape or form. Stay solid. Stay correct. And this is part of the evolution that the man becomes clean. That is part of the peace when there is no more people to harm like this. I remember 40 years ago, 45 years ago when I went to England, there was a dispute between people when they said the first policeman was found to be criminal. It's impossible. British police cannot be criminal. Now half of the police were in prison or dismissed for criminal activities. And now we see it in Belgium. The judge has to open the case in Italy because they have asked for it. We have given the evidence. When he opens the case, the police file, he sees Mr. Delano's name on it. 4 years ago. Mr. Delano was asked to give evidence, and he fiddled them up that he is never there. By law, he's been asked, he's been interviewed. We want to know where that interview is, even by Italian police. So as you see, the circle is completed. I thank everyone. I thank Caroline, especially being next to me with all these problems we went through. The poisoning which was done by Dirk on him, on her, on me, on our son. Don't forget, Mr. Lorescence comes from Congo, so did John. The orphans, bunch of those who do not know who their father is, are gathered by a man who's a child molester as a king. And they are used to kill the scientists. Now you see the connection. I thank the Belgian community. I thank the Belgian Keshe Foundation supporters who stood with us. They went to the court and they took everything through. We should have never left home where our home was Belgium. And now you see the reality. Police intimidating in the court of law is against all the laws where the court is the place of finding justice. They are so proud they control everything that they don't even mind being criminals in the court of law. I'll close the case. Please, when you write, Mr. Lorescence write, Mr. Keshe has asked to be sentenced. I want to be sentenced, because with me sentencing, the rest of the world scientists will be free from now that these tenders of these criminals has stretched through China, Japan, United States, and the rest of it. Scientific crimes pays a lot, and Mr. Lorescence has made a lot out of it. But this time greed chopped your fingers, got trapped in the door. Mr. Delanois, I welcome you into a prison sentence. Please ask the judge to give me the highest sentence. The higher the sentence, the more I can push in the European Court of Justice, because we are not making a claim now. Our claim is registered with the court and with the Italian police and with the Belgian police going back to 2007. Good morning. Mr. Delanois, please give a hand to the cripple, Mr. Lorescence, because you need to hold each other's hand, because you both be crippled. And the biggest mistake for you, Mr. Prosecutor, was to stand up and make a fool of yourself, as Belgian police, Belgian embassy in Rome were aware of you and your activity. We were waiting to catch you. Thank you very much. I thank you. Please, the translator, translate that Mr. Keshe is asking to be sentenced because by European law, it's the only way he can take the criminals into court. They didn't do, they wouldn't allow us to place, because we are in district of Kortrijk, the prosecutor would not allow himself to be prosecuted and his boss, Mr. Delano. Now, they have brought it, we use it. We go all the way to European Court. Thank you very much indeed. We come to the second part of the teaching today. As many of you know, we've been close to the Keshe Foundation. I always said, when the man is ready, I will write the final book, which is the soul of the man. By the request of the members of the Universal Council, that a book to be written about the soul, the writing of the book of the soul of the man, with the request of Universal Council and the meeting of last night of the Universal Council support team, has started. This means the man has reached a pivotal point to mature. I always said that the book called The Soul of the Man will be written. Couple of people in the background have been going through every teaching where the soul has been taught from the beginning, for putting everything together that when the book is ready. But the difference is, I have taught, and this time, as is agreed by the members of the Universal Council and the Support Council, the title of the book will be chosen by man. And it'll be the first time when all the races and languages collectively write the truth about their own creation. That the life of the man starts with the soul of the man. The reality is very simple. I have trained 4 souls, known as Mojans, to carry the teaching with themselves across this planet. Most probably you'll never know all of them, or you might know some of them. But in past 6 weeks, they've been taught enough to know what the steps are and how they become the next generation of showing a man how to allow his soul to elevate and how to allow his soul become the embodiment of the man into a space. The teaching of the soul of the man to be the creator of the physicality of the man has come to its end. What is going to be called will be decided by totality of the people who are writing it. How it will be taught, from which age, it depends on how it will be narrated by the people. As I said always, my mission is complete when the man understands the work of his soul. And we are getting to the final point. The mystery of understanding the soul of the man, not knowing that the soul of the man is in the center of the brain of the man, is within the man, has been his wisdom of what we call hidden talent. Now he knows where he is, he knows how to use it, he understands how he can travel the spans of universe without killing another man or animal or being, but he can tap into the universal soul of the universe. Animal eats animal. Soul shares fields that they stay comfortable and everlasting. And now we understand it. As I said, my mission is more or less complete. I have trained 4 people who in time they will teach all of you. It's for you to understand they have no higher position than you, but they have the knowledge to share with you. The soul of the man is created out of the fields of the universe, of the higher order than the physicality of the man. And that's where the wisdom has come from. And this is from now on, is what we expect for humanity to take action and stay correct in the course, to use the soul to elevate the humanity, and with it to elevate the planet and travel the depth of the universe. We have called them Mojans or brothers because that's what transfers our knowledge in the space. We are all brothers across this universe, not just on this planet. And in that process, we stay firm in teaching as long as the facilities for teachings are available, and as long as the man is there to learn more. So those of you who want to participate in the right Universal Council, what I call the pen of the truth about the creation of the man, now is in the hand of the man. It's the first time when collectively the whole human race writes about its own creation. This way there are no prophets and nobody can claim anything. This way we share knowledge correct, we teach correct, and because we understand each other's language in the soul of the man, we'll conduct well and correct. So, as we said, the book, The Soul of the Man, the writing of it by the man as one race has started as of yesterday. Let's see what the man does and how he can explain his own creation to his own, what he creates as his children, that they become part of the soul of the universe. If you want to join to write the book as it's getting written by the member of the councils, those of you who are wise, you know where to get in touch with and how to become part of the structure. We'll publish these books and as what we call soft books or hardback directly on all Keshe Foundation network. We'll open a page that anybody more or less on Wikipedia or what we call Keshe Wiki on our wiki page, that all of you can add to it as is needed, as is got to be, as we all understand different languages, because this time we write the book of creation. The book of, thank you very much, how we came to be and how we got to be from now on, now that we know the truth is within us. I've seen places saying that he's atheist, he doesn't believe in God. I believe in God more than anybody else because I know the God is the soul of me. I am creator of me, and the creator of my soul is the creator himself. Join us, as does not matter in what language, to write. We'll open a chapter in Keshe Wiki, writing the book of the soul. All my teachings will be as appendix. The rest will be written by man. Thank you very much. As I said, we come to the third section of this teaching today, what we call the blueprint for peace, for humanity. We have taught much and we have done much. There is in the passage of Baha'u'llah, blessed his name, that in so many ways he facilitated everything for the world peace to happen. But he knew in his time that he has to come to the maturity of the man, and it's written on the last page of his holy book that the maturity of the man comes when man understands the transmutation of the elements. Many of you, as I've said before, and you know exactly where we're going, that you thought the transmutation of element was making gold out of silver and making silver out of copper and the rest of it. How far from reality we are. The truth about transmutation of man to mature, and it'll be point of his maturity, is that now that we understand the operation of the soul of the man, is how he can transform his body as to part of his soul and transmute or transfer itself to another dimension, another environment, and transfer himself, his soul, back to another element which manifests himself in physicality in that dimension. It's not about the gold and silver. It's about the maturity of the man to understand in reality that is about the man himself. How he wants to manifest himself through his soul, where he converts the matter state of his physicality, his soul, to the soul of himself, and uses the same in another dimension to appear itself, to manifest itself in another planet, another deep space position, or in another universe. Now that we come to that point, and we understand gradually how to get there, We need to emphasize on the structure of the man itself, that all men are equal because we have no kings and we have no presidents with our souls. No one soul is created to be president, and no one soul is created to be a king unless the others accept it. And there is no time to accept this anymore. But we have to bring peace to man. And the only way we can bring peace to man, as those who have been enlightened with the word of peace, is to facilitate the leaders of the man to sign themselves into peace. What I'm suggesting to the Keshe Foundation supporters, with the support of the Keshe Foundation core team, all 14 of them, with the support of the Universal Council members, and with the support of the Earth Council, I request from you to announce the meeting of the world leaders for signing of the Peace Treaty. My advice to you is, do not give them much time. I suggest 2nd and 3rd of August of this year, within the next 35 days, is the maximum for world leaders to come together to sign the humanity to peace. It's the job of the councils to see to this. My suggestion of the place is very simple. Most of the problems of the man comes through Hebraism, and it starts in Mount Carmel. And it's the best place for humanity to go back to sign humanity to peace. This has been foreseen by the founders of the Baha'i faith, Baha'u'llah. Bless his name. The place is ready if the councils decide they want to use it. The Golden Temple in Mount Carmel has been set. It's been decorated to fit the world leaders, and now is time and the place. Write, go viral, go to the world leaders, stand in front of the palaces, and invite your leaders to walk into Haifa and sign humanity to peace. If you are a Jew, write to every embassy, the Islamic and the Christians and the Vaticans. We demand you to sign peace treaty. You have a small problem as a member of the core teams, councils. You have to write to the Baha'is to tell them, can we use your house for peace? That's the decision and the job of the Earth Council. When this building which you see in front of you was designed, these steps was promised, that the man, the world leaders, will walk these steps, and by going to the top, they gather the wisdom of the peace and assign humanity to the peace. For us to build a house for the Earth Council and Universal Council will take another 10 years, 20 years, and there is not enough time. So we can ask the Baha'i community to lend a hand in the premises which are already foreseen for this event. I asked the Earth Council to contact the members of Universal House of Justice for such a permission. The members of the Earth Council, this is your job. The members of the Universal Council, your job is much cheaper and easier. It's your job to ask all the members of the United Nations to ask their leaders to attend the meeting. Do not get disappointed if you don't meet the time and the place, but you have to start. As the head of Keshe Foundation, I will write if the council gives me the letter, and I'll deliver in hand to a number of world leaders. I am in that position. I can do, and you can do the rest. walk in public, go through press, go through internet, publish the World Peace Treaty, and the invitation of every single world leader to meet on the 3rd and the 2nd of August in Haifa. I tell you one thing, the Prime Minister of Israel will have a big problem, how he's going to let the Iranian president to walk in. This all has been foreseen by Baha'u'llah. We see the mountain up. If you turn the picture mountain down, is the port of Haifa. No world leader needs to go anywhere. They walk on the street, they sign humanity to peace, and they leave. There is a need for this action, and we have the knowledge to do it. We have the numbers to do it, and we have a commitment to peace. This is my wish. The only thing man can do is to fail himself. 2nd and 3rd of August is the best time for man to write the world peace and walk himself to world peace. Go to the palaces and go to the prime ministers, go to the press, everywhere you can. Try to make the world leaders to walk the, what I call, the path of peace. We call it the blueprint for humanity, and now we see the structure. The beauty with this building is that every nation, every cult and creed has paid for its building. Jews, Baha'i Jews, Christian Jews, Christian Baha'is, American, black, white, Chinese Baha'is, Africans, whatever they could save over past 25 years, they have scraped to build this. I remember when I was a child, when the order came to build. I remember people selling the carpets of their house to pay for the land. Some people ate 1 meal a day
Wisdom.
to build this land. Doesn't belong to anyone, it belongs to humanity. This is my wish. Don't give the world leaders to escape. 35 days is enough. Write to every world leader, plaster it, put it up, force them to come. Force them to go through peace and not out of the fear. I encourage President Rouhani to be the first one. And I wonder if we can get Ayatollah Khamenei to walk the steps. I invite President Xi to attend as the most peaceful man on this planet as a leader. And if you remember, we had a pre-run for this 4 or 5 years ago. If you remember, when we start giving the key world in exchange for peace, every time a government accepted, we put it on the net. Today, the Government of United States accepted the key. Today, the government of Russia accepted the key. Now let's see, as the Keshe Foundation's followers, we can get the world leaders to accept the peace. We need the first person. Who do we know as the most peaceful president in the world that will sign himself and walk before August to sign the peace treaty, the World Peace Treaty, according to the writings? Now you understand my challenges on all the Keshe Foundations. You were worried if you learned about the guns and you learned about the nano coating. No nano coating making for next 30 days. Nano coat the soul of the world presidents and the leaders, the mayors, the districts, and walk the leaders to sign the World Peace Treaty, to sign their nation to peace and disarmament. This is the job. This is the blueprint for peace. You have the science, you understand the soul, and now you have the job. Second and 3rd of August. 2nd of August is my birthday. 3rd of August is a teaching on Thursday. Let's see if we can do the teaching from Haifa. I tell you one thing. The last time I asked the Israeli Prime Minister for peace, he said he'd talk about peace to anyone but me. Alman says we wish for it. Wishing has to be on top of doing. Demand peace, meeting of the world leaders, what we call it G199, because there are 199 nations and territories to sign man to peace. In so many ways, we have the gift to give, and the exchange of the gift is what we said. Knowledge in exchange for peace, and now we force it. I asked the members of the Earth Council to contact the members of Universal House of Justice for permission for the use. And I tell you, you have a very bad news. The Baha'is around the world are well rooted politically with the people of power. They can ask for over 10 million population of the Baha'i world public to give you a hand. Ask the churches to ask their masses to do. Ask the synagogues and go to Buddhists. Don't make any more ganses, because now it's got to be the gans of the soul of the man for next time to come. There shall not be any failure, and there shall not be any success. It will be a progress for development of peace on this planet. So the blueprint is now to get our leaders to sign mankind to peace and tell them one thing. As human beings, we'll find a way for a job. We'll find we share food for those who work as soldiers, that they'll have food on the table as the armies disappear. I have a very big challenge. I invite Prince Philip, the King of Belgium, and I asked the Queen of England the same. I will send a private invitation to King of Belgium. Maybe through it, they'll find peace. And those who claim to be a nation of peace, let them walk the path of peace. We need to invite the Arab leaders. We need to invite the Pope. There is a need to invite the rabbis of Israel as much as the Arab Islamic leaders. No one is immune to peace except man himself. So now you understand why we call it. I ask you to stop making coils and nanomaterial and ganses for next 30 days. If we get one president to sign, the rest will follow. I have a very good suggestion for those of you who understand. The president of Ghana has already signed his nation to peace. Those who are and work and understand the work in Ghana, the president of Ghana is your first president to walk, because he has already signed it. We can invite anyone as world leaders who can be there, that they can bring the change. Economical repercussion from this is massive, but it's worth it. The money which is spent on arms when the children are hungry and there are no homes is worth to be changed. The beauty with it is only about 10 nations will suffer. United Kingdom, United States, Germany, Belgium, France, Spain, slightly Japan, China not that much, Russia a little bit, and mainly these are the nations who are building the arms. But this brings peace to another 180 nations in the world. Let's, through the writing, buying up arms and illegal and terrorist activity, and see how many world leaders will sign to it. We called it the blueprint for peace. This is my wish, and I take my wish to all three councils. I call on all the members of the core team. I call on all the members of the Universal Council and all the members of the Earth Council to meet as a matter of urgency. To plan, and we keep the lines open on the Keshe Foundation teaching every day. We will not shut down till we achieve peace. Anytime any development will come online, we report. We need to do it because we have to do it. We are the only structure at this moment of time which can do this work. There will not be another chance like this for years to come, because there is no other further new knowledge in the knowledge of the universe than what we have and we can give. I accept to invite His Excellency President Rouhani to Haifa with the writing that is come to sign for peace. And I accept to invite the Iranian religious leader Ayatollah Khamenei to be brought to Haifa, not to no nation of Jewish or no place of Baha'is, but the place for world peace. I accept to deliver the message to President Xi of China. I wonder which and who others all of us can do. I should not be the only one who delivers the message to these presidents. I have to be one of many. If you are Iranian, your target should be the same as mine. If you are Chinese, you have a peaceful nation. Invite your leaders, and I'm sure China will be one of the first nations which will sign a World Peace Treaty. Signs man to peace. If you are Belgium, write to your king. If you are Muslim, write to heads of the Islamic world. If you are a Christian, and if you are a Jew, invite the president of the Islamic nations, and especially the King of Saudi Arabia, to come to Haifa to sign land for peace. Let's see what we do and how we get it, and if we can bring this position to the completion. You have made all the ganses, and the only way man will move to the next phase of the development of his soul, and what I said, and what has been the mutation of his life, his living, his entity. Let's commit our leaders to peace. We chose them, we allow them, and now is our wish for them to follow. My wish has been world peace, and I have structured a foundation and science for the followers of the Keshe Foundation to achieve it. Now I put my request and my wish to all of you who use, understand, and work around the foundation. Put your tools and ganses down till the 2nd and 3rd of August down. Use the pen of your soul to give to the soul of the world leaders, and use your pen to invite on every channel you know the world leaders to come. And the minute one accepts, write down, I'm attending. Remember one thing, there is 7 billion of us, and there's only 199 or 200 of them. We are a lot of force. We push, they will shuffle. It should not become a fashion, it should become a path of living. Not just to come to sign, this is not a Toronto climate treaty signing. This is from the minute the president or the king signs, the arm manufacturing, the weapon manufacturing, the defense technology in that nation cease to exist. That has to be the promise. When a king walks the steps of Mount Carmel, he commits his nation to peaceful activities. No more guns and no more battleships.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. I think we temporarily lost Mr. Keshe. Plug in here. Okay. Yes, it looks like it'll just be a minute. Probably be right back.
Hello, Rick.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Kesh. Yes.
Okay. I think you had enough time to practice while I was away. Let's do it because we owe it to our children. We owe it that this time they will not get a chance as we had to change the course of humanity. As you know, I have organized 3 World Peace Ambassadors meetings successfully around the world. Now it's time to go headhunting. Get the heads of nations to commit their nations. Not with free energy promises, not with medicine promises, not with anything else, but purely the promise of a better future for humanity, an opening of the space to man. I accept. To give the invitation to His Excellency Ayatollah Rouhani. Even if it means imprisonment in Iran. It's worth it. If you talk the way I talk to some of the world powerful people, they say themselves, they are fed up of buying arms when their nation is hungry, but they have to do it because they have to keep the European and American happy that they can receive a budget for their nation. And I said to them, you're the most stupidest people who think this way, because the money you give for the arms you spend, you don't need any donation from the other Europeans and African and Americans for your nation. And they have to see the light. If a nation spends 2 billion a year servicing military and arms which are never going to be used, that 2 billion feeds a lot of people in their nation. They don't need to go and borrow money more. We open the Keshe Foundation Knowledge Seekers channel on daily basis from today. Somebody comes or doesn't come, or a team to follow, how we promote it, how we push it, how we shuffle it, how we ask for the support from other groups, other peace movement to join us, that's your job. My job as head of Keshe Foundation is to give you and provide you the ground, the facilities, and the voice. My dearest members of the Earth Council, ask for an immediate and right to Universal House of Justice for permission for such a move, and ask them if they join you. Members of the Baha'i community worldwide, it's your wish and it's been the command of your Prophet. Act upon it. Ask your members of the Universal House of Justice to open the doors and the land. I ask from the Jewish community in Israel, prepare the land for the final push, and the same from the Christians and the Muslims. We don't have time. We don't have time. More souls to suffer. It's not going to be, don't have time, that's going to be the end of the world. Yes, it's going to be the end of the suffering for this world. And that's what we can do. When you establish peace, getting the world leaders to sign, go back to your answers, feed the hungry through it, make everything possible, and enjoy to be a human. We start from tomorrow. The Keshe Foundation website on this channel will be open every day till we achieve the goal. You choose how you do, where you do, the way you do, and those of you who were wishing for peace and you always ask for it when it'll be, the time is now. The place is Keshe Foundation and the point to meet, the Mount Carmel. I remember I wrote a letter to Iranian ambassador. Then I had to call the Iranian ambassador in Moscow. I asked Mohandas Jeudi, I have managed to reverse coma. Do I have the permission to help Sharon, the Prime Minister of Israel? I knew what the answer was, but I wanted to be called correctly. I did not want it to be called a traitor. Very quickly, I received an answer back from the Brussels Iranian embassy. This is a humanitarian ground, and you're allowed to go ahead. I offered the knowledge to Sharon's family and the Israeli government through Mossad. They moved Sharon from the hospital to home, but somewhere it got stuck. So there is no hate for Muslims from Muslims against Jews, but loving, caring, and understanding. He was sick and he was in coma, and he needed help to come back to life. Now the humanity is sick and in coma, kept in the darkness of war, and it's the time for us to awaken the man. Time for peace. True peace, that we shall not spend not even a cent on something that can harm another person. Please, I ask you, stop making cancers. Stop making coils. Stop making everything else which I have taught you for 35 days till we achieve world peace. Till we get the first world leader to sign by going to Haifa. Nowhere else that is symbolic is a place where all humanity comes to rest its anger and frustration and exchange the beauty of the peace with the state which is set for peace in the Mount Carmel. Info at the Universal House of Justice is the first port of call. All of you who get the address, write to. We need your premises for peace, and we need your help to help us, to help humanity, to meet on the 2nd and 3rd of August this year in Haifa. I'm sure the members of the Universal House of Justice have access to Mr. Netanyahu and many other world leaders that they can invite. Let's work together with those who are, and promise one thing: we have the technology to change it. We are not talking. Knowledge, science in exchange for peace, and understanding that when there is peace, we gain more knowledge and there'll be more peace. We can develop technologies to be able to do. My wish is my command, and I have wished. I shall be done. Please start working, not from tomorrow, but from now. Write to world leaders. Go to the offices, go to the palaces, stand there, organize one banner. Meet us in Haifa for peace. I wonder if President Trump will be in Haifa the way he jumped, going to Saudi Arabia, going to Jerusalem, going to Vatican to bring peace between the nations. Now let him sign his own nation to peace. It's time for change. And it's time for change for peace. And we can do it. And we know we can do it. Meet the ambassadors and give them the letter. Go to the embassies and do everything possible that the ambassadors know the leaders have to be. Use the emails, use the internet, and everything else. We push for peace. We will get the peace. Give from your soul to the world leaders that when you walk to their offices, they just say yes. The biggest fear with all the major nations who are in arm is what are we going to do with unemployment? Offer them the alternative. If man delivers, if the humanity brings the world leaders on the platform of peace in Haifa, I will give you in so many ways the knowledge of peace for freedom of the man. And that will come by the wisdom of the understanding the work of the peace. I asked the Keshe Foundation team to put a team together that is operational every day from 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Central European time. I asked the knowledge seeker student time for these 35 days to be allowed with the permission of the students to become the time that our team can spend on activities to create peace. Maybe the homework for our students is to use the knowledge to force the nations to come on the peace of table of plan, to see what we can do. Every president has to be given a chance to be part of the world peace, and every economical situation has to be changed that no arms should be made from now on. Keshe Foundation website, Knowledge Seekers, this number will be open from 10 o'clock tomorrow morning till 5 o'clock. Come with your suggestions. Bring those of the other belief that they will support us to achieve peace, to discuss how and the way we do it. We become at 10 to 5 and maybe round the clock gradually peace organizing scientific world. And I tell you all one thing. All the world presidents have cancer, they have diabetic in their own life or outside. And they would like to see peace before they die. Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran suffers from prostate cancer. The president of Turkey suffers from kidney cancer. The president of Ghana has different health problems. The Queen of England suffers more. Let's exchange the health, their health, that they see clearly in exchange for signing their nations into peace. There shall be no mayhem. It's just that we have to find jobs for soldiers, because they will not be using any arms. Now we have to find a job, now that there shall be no borders. We pay in the West for unemployment for people to stay home. In Africa, they pay soldiers. Now there will not be any soldiers because the arms and the barracks, the money saved can feed the nation. But they still pay their soldiers. We still pay these men without a name, and most of them could be skilled, but we use the money which is there to fuel the tanks and the aircrafts and buy the bullets to feed the rest of the nation. It's time for peace. And as I said, the Keshe Foundation Webmaster team meet today immediately. Sort out who and allow a number of people to become controllers. Bring the members of the Universal Council and the Earth Council and the others who want to handle and monitor these into light. Let them do. I ask all the students at Keshe Foundation KFSSI, we shut the school down till the 3rd of August. We don't shut down. We change your numbers to this number, come, and now is the time for exam. Let's see if you pass. Use your time, what you learned, to pass the exam. That it can bring peace, how we can do, the way we can do, and how we can bring movement that we can bring peace through. Keshe Foundation, KFSSI, will change number to this number till 4th of August. And I hope those Keshe Foundation supporters in Israel will report for us what has been achieved. If we fail, we will not stop. We'll go to the next step till we achieve. Then we have to entice humanity, and then that's wrong. We start from tomorrow. Don't rush, set out the plan, meet, go for the world leaders. Do not go to councils, do not go to standing outside your mayor office, you want to get your president. Go to the president direct. 7 billion targeting 190 heads. Their emotion, their soul, their physicality, their offices. And we are not rioting, we're just asking, we want peace and we want you to sign yourself to it. Keshe Foundation KFSSI from tomorrow morning is become a peace channel. Thank you very much. As I said, today's teaching, Knowledge Seekers, has 4 sections. The 4th section starts now, and this is what we talk as teaching. This is what we consider as teaching part. There is something which is part of us, and in many discussions we ask ourselves, why are we here? Why me? Why do I exist? What is the purpose of me being here as a man? Now, as a voice of the Creator, I explain. I've explained this to 2 people up to now. Now it's time for humanity to understand. Many times you have asked yourself this question. Why me? What am I doing here? What is my purpose? Where am I going to? What is my future? The whole essence of creation for man has been very simple. It has taken the universal community to create nursing homes where we can nurse and nourish new souls. That we can use these souls for establishment of just and correct structures across the universe. You will understand more if you have been educated well in the knowledge of plasma. We have a video that every time I see, it brings so much memories and knowledge that I say why the human does not see. We have a video which 2 or 3 rays come together and they become a circle, and then they become a plasma. And this has so much meaning in so many different ways, in parallel, in why and how the whole of universe has been relying on the beauty of the earth. To build a tree, you need a seed. To make a plant, you need a seed. We use the soul of the man in the depth of the space to be the seed of the new life. Now you know the purpose of the man. Now you understand why we push for man to walk away from animosity and work for peace. This is the nursery of the world, of the universe. We have many of these across the universe, but Earth has always been good, has always created life across the universe. When we allow man to become part of the structure of the creation, we need that initial seed you call the soul of the man to structure the universe. Many times you wonder what happens to my soul when I die. It becomes the seed of life across the universe. And because he understands the need of universe, he sacrifices his position to satisfy the need of universe. It's very hard for man to understand this at this moment. But as you travel the depth of the universe, now that we have given the knowledge to the man, man will find out he's been respected and valued. We have a problem. We know the problem when this planet was put together and came together by accident to become a nursery for the new souls. Somehow in the creation, in the process, something was not enough of. To allow for a peaceful transition, to allow a peaceful growth. We know the way the combination of the physicality has come together, there is a lack of a field. It's very near, close to zinc. And this is what this planet is missing. And this is what it brings aggression and degradation. This is what has been missing. It's what has been the backbone of all the problems on this planet. Depletion in the soul of the man through lack of energy at a given level, which man would like to call it zinc. In fact, it's something below copper, and somewhere it goes above silver. This is the problem. And now when you see, when I encourage, when I enlighten you to use more ganses of zinc, is to sort out the problem. That the souls leaving this planet are not the suffering souls, that then we get problem in the depth of the space when through the seed of the soul of the man we create and generate universes. When you have a seed in your hand, you plant it in the ground, you water it, it shoots, and then you have leaves, and then become a tree, and it become life. The soul of the man is the tree of the universe. It's the seed of the tree of the universe. Needs respect and love and caring. That's why we have come to sort out. This does not happen with all, but some, which now they have taken majority in behavior, might change the position, and we are here to stop. This is why we push for peace, because when it becomes aggression part of the depth of the life of the man, then we have a souls with a problem which ends us with the problems in other direction. Some of you might say, what a nonsense. I tell you one thing, it's the truth. It takes a long time to create a dynamic, strong enough that can start the fields of the galaxy, or a planet, or a star. And the strength of the soul of the man is of that level. Now you understand why we allow and we have come to arrange peace, to create a man of peace, that in creation of the planet there shall be peace. We don't get problems the way we have on this earth. The strangest thing is, where the universal life comes from, itself is in trouble to look after itself. As we say, a pot maker always eats and drinks out of broken pot. Now we have come to fix the pot. Now you understand why we are here. What is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of the soul of the man? Now we understand why we are created, and in so many ways, as our souls are part of each other, we create a community of life in other dimensions in the universe. Have you ever thought, where does my soul go? Have you seen a soul nursery? Have you ever seen anybody coming and watering it? But as you have said, the same as exact copy of in the womb of the mother, the seed of the energy, it has led to a life, a structure, you call it the body of the man. Now we take the soul of the man in its all beauty and allow it to become the creation of the other lives in the universe. Now man understands why he's here and what am I doing here. It's for the man to elevate his own soul to the level that out of his life comes a beautiful further accumulation of lives which are at peace. When you put an angry soul in the space, you get an angry planet like Earth, more suffering. And that's what we are here to stop. This is the completion of the cycle. This is what I said earlier on in today's teaching. When I finish, and I have finished writing the books of the soul of the man, man will understand the truth about himself. The reason we are born and the reason we die. We do not die. We become the source of our life. We become the seed of existence in all dimensions of the universe. Now, what would you like your soul to be? This is your question, and this is where you have to find an answer. The division of life in so many ways tells you one thing. Earth is a perfect nursery for every aspects and dimensions. An ant has a soul as much as the man has a soul, even though the elephant. Now, I wonder, when you look into the skies, ask yourself one question. What beautiful soul has made that beautiful star? And there's one little tiny problem. Man, due to the structure of his amino acid, does not see all the structure of the universe. And there is one thing, there are no gaps in the world of the creation. If you find a gap in your arm or leg, you can find a gap in the structure of the universe. It's full of life, and he accepts different dimensions and strength of the energies. So now you understand the true essence of the creation of man. We set the seed of life across the universe from the soul of the man. And it has to be perfect to create a perfect life, a perfect cycle. Now you wonder where your soul goes. I wonder what you're going to do now that you know you become the creator of the creation. I think I have taught enough. A short, sharp lesson in understanding the truth about the man and his soul. Are there any questions?
Good morning, Mr. Cash.
Good morning. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
I hope it was a nice wedding.
Yes, Mr. Cash.
We are not invited, so we don't let you speak.
Mr. Cash, you were invited.
Nobody told us.
Yes, I sent you an email. I invited you, but
I did not see it.
Okay, so I apologize because I should have maybe.
You went to France. You wanted me to come close to Belgium?
maybe by coming.
You would have given the wishes of Mr. Lorescence to him.
No, you would have.
Mr. Delanois.
You would have elevated their soul probably.
These souls never get elevated. But anyway, what's your new name, by the way?
The same name.
You got married and you didn't change your name.
No, I don't change my name. It's a Persian style. We don't change our name.
Oh my God. You women, you Iranians are hard to handle.
Okay.
Congratulations anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Cash. Thank you so much.
Wish you all the best with the new life.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your all your.
You have a more mature sound today. I think you got married, has done some changes.
Okay. You know, Mr. Cash, I have a question. You see, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this gentleman's name right, Mr. De La Hoya, who caused a lot of problem for you and has killed a lot of scientists maybe in the past. You see, you're dealing with this in a more personal level, and then we want him to go to the court of justice, and we wish him to go to hell and all that. My question is, when we talk about the leaders in the past, the leaders who created so much killing and so much suffering for humanity, and we want to elevate their soul, but why we do that? We should take them to the court of justice, because a 14-year-old sitting in Yemen or Syria who has no parents, no family, he sees the world the same way you see the world from this person who has created so much harm to you. So should we take all these leaders who have done millions and millions of killings?
We have no choice. We have no choice. We have no choice. We got to handle these 140 odd people, we call them the world leaders. We got two choices. Lock them up and man learns the path of the correct way, don't make any arms or whatever. Or come up with another suggestion. Put them up. What are we going to do with them? Because we have a habit, we follow leaders. This is the way the man works. What are we going to do with them? There should be no king, there should be no other bits, but in the structure we need some people who can organize things for us. You call them presidents, you call them leaders, you call them whatever. It's the way man has not managed to organize himself correctly that has led to creation of these people. I tell you something very interesting. When I was in Dubai, somebody came and said, you want to see Sheikh Mohammed? $500,000 for half an hour visit with him. I said, he's got to pay me $1 million to meet me. They have put values on them. We have the same situation in Accra now. You want to meet the president, you want to meet so-and-so, we have to be paid. You have to pay us, we bring in the message of peace. We are playing a very, very funny game at this moment. We are elevating the souls and we are pushing them to sign a peace treaty. And then we tell them you have to handle a lot of unemployment. And to them, it's not working. So they push with whatever they can not to do it. But it has to happen somewhere. Who's going to be the first one? Who's going to stop these things? My anger with the what I call criminals like Delanois and Loresans is these are organized gangs. These are organized criminals. All our kings and presidents organized criminals? Partially are, because that's how they came to power. But partially it has to be disarmed. I carry a lot of anger with me regarding the situation in Belgium with us, because we could have done so much more, we would have been so much ahead, except that these people create so much mayhem for them to have. Do you know what Mr. Delanois gets out of doing what he's doing to me? What is the benefit to him? 2 charges to rape. That's all. He's a pedophile. What does Loresans get? The same. Why do you think a man goes to harm a science and technology if he wasn't losing something? These are motivated by abuse of children. We're not talking rubbish, we've seen it. The people they supported. The guy is in prison for indefinite. We see today the top priest in Australia has been summoned for child abuse. The closest advisor to the Pope is in the paper today. Is it true? And then we read a man, a priest, raping 3 children, has got few weeks imprisonment. The abuse and the way these people think they are is what they get from it. I spent 11 days in prison. The guy got a 500,000 apartment. These are the things which goes and it happens. We can't stop. This is a cycle that we have to start stopping it somewhere. My anger is, how much would have been achieved if there was so much, it wasn't so much interruption, so much damage? And why do these people damage? A few seconds playing with a child, with their own daughter, with their own children, and then they're accusing everybody else to cover it up. A few houses, a few keys to a few apartments. Why? But at least by pushing the world leaders to go for peace and encouraging them, we start the weapons, we stop the chain of creating so many orphans, we stop the chain of so much hate and resentment. If you don't have the weapon to shoot and kill and bomb, would you become Israelis or Palestinian or Christian? Because you don't have anything to harm. Maximum we can do, we can stand in the square and shout. What else can you do? We need the world leaders to set example. And we have seen it. When you have a correct leader, the rest follow.
Mr. Cash, when I was before your teaching, when I was thinking about the Queen of England, King of Saudi, Prime Minister of Israel, I always thought, they should go to hell. But since you taught us to be peaceful, every day I was praying for them and giving from my soul to elevate their soul so we bring peace. Now I'm thinking, if these people die, for example, Queen of England or Prime Minister of Israel or King of Saudis, do you think when they go to the other side, they're going to enrich the universe? I don't think so, because with all the things they've done.
You want me to show you where we put them? You don't want to be there.
No, of course I don't want to be there, but I'm sure they're not going to go to the place you and I are going to go.
We don't know.
I mean,
depends what we done in our time, huh?
No, of course, everybody knows in their heart what they have done, what they're doing. So if you know what you're doing, I know what I'm doing. They know what they're doing also. My question is, should I pray for them still, or should I think about they should go to hell?
We pray for them till they find their own hell. That's what my suggestion is. The hell to them is not having the life they're used to. What can we do? Let's put it on. Are we going to waste our time on this, or are we going to? Don't worry about what might happen. Our problem at the moment is peace on this planet. They handle their souls. Let us concentrate on what we are here for.
Mr. Kesh, you mentioned earlier that some of these beings, that it may not be possible to elevate their souls. Is that true? There's just like
Yes,
virtually no hope
exactly.
for some beings.
No, there is. Let me tell you why. I was teaching this to the motions yesterday, or today, I can't remember, past couple of days. You cannot stop giving it, but they know they've done so much harm that they don't want to receive, because they know to them it's not anymore there to receive. We, as you know, you're a member of the core team, how we elevated the soul of the leaders, world leaders. It's the job of all the Keshe Foundation supporters who've been through different understanding to start teaching. I asked the Mojans to start teaching as of today. I asked them, he said, do we go? I said, depends on you. We finish tomorrow with the Mojans' first section. And I said to them, we might not meet again, because they'll be so busy teaching that they do not have time to be taught, because as they teach, they get enlightened to teach more. You got to understand, I share my knowledge as a prophet of God, as you call it, as a messenger of God, as a creator, equal amongst all men, all creators, all the created. I don't count who uses it, who abuses it. I share it that by it, they benefit to elevate their soul. We are here to serve humanity. We are not here to cause mayhem for humanity. But you have to understand, it takes time. It takes 1 second to change the soul of man. My mission is to create peace. I accepted it. And I achieve it. As I said, very soon I'll invite the Iranian president to come to Haifa. And you know something? It's very easy to entice the world leaders. And that is, what have you got to lose? Except peace. That your name will be written in the books that you were one of the first ones who walked in to sign the peace. It's not an ambassadorial job. It's when the kings sign themselves to peace, they find out that they have no place to be kings. They are another ordinary man. I asked, as I said, the Earth Council to get in touch as fast as you can with the Universal House of Justice and ask for permission and let them allow you. If they don't allow you, I handle Universal House of Justice. I had enough battles with them over years. I'm battle-wounded with the Universal House of Justice because they have lost the direction and what they were serving for and what they are there for. Now you give them the ultimate chance. For us to build this center, it takes a long time. It's already built and man likes buildings. Let him have it. Those of you who are members of the Universal Council, all the members of the United Nations are your, through them, their leaders to be done. The Earth Council works with the Universal House of Justice, and the Universal Council works with the United Nations to make sure they come together for the time we approved. The members of the core team, all 14 of them, irrespective of what you have done or what we've done or what the position, you are called upon to bring peace in. The love of God worth more than the anger of the man. If you drag it, then it becomes something to happen. If we shorten it, it will happen. This is the way we done. We always gave 7 to 14 days to the ambassadors to attend meeting, no more. There is no carrot and there is no stick. Any other question?
Mr. Cash, I have another question. Can I become a star?
Why not? You're already a star.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm talking about becoming mono, because stars are mono. They're not.
Why do you get married if you want to be mono? Why do you think you fell in love? Or you just got married because it's fashionable?
No, because when you become,
if you married another soul, it means you have found the balance to share and to receive. You are already a star to the soul of another man. And with it, when you pass, you become a star. You become the seed. You'll never shine because you're sitting right in the center. But what you gather, that it shines, the rest of the universe will make out of it to be a star.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Don't forget, from tomorrow at 10 o'clock, the Keshe Foundation Knowledge Seekers will be open to plan, to execute, and to discuss. We leave it as much as we can open every day. Different time zones, you want to come in, you want to suggest, there is nobody there, there are 2 there or 10 there, is irrelevant. If we cannot get thousands of people to support this and find a way to do it, then you have a big problem. There won't be another chance for a long, long time, and there'll be more suffering. Any other question?
Mr. Kesh, can you explain for people in live stream and others who, like Trevor asks, he was under the impression that the GANs was supposed to reach the souls of our corrupt leaders and so on, that we're to spread the GANs around.
You didn't make enough of it. You didn't make enough of it.
Okay,
You were
that
too
makes
busy
sense.
coiling it and having a free energy at home.
Okay,
Do you know what I received? I tell you, let me tell you.
You say you don't want people to do that now, though, so that's
whatever you made.
Confusion.
Yes, no, oh, okay. Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, let me explain to you something. The confusion we've seen 3 times in the world of the Keshe Foundation. The first time when we start, you and I start the teachings, if you remember, Rick. We started with matter. We started with the gas cores and matter state. Do you remember? When we changed into GANs and into cores, small cores, the shouting and the howling, and how many people left the foundation and came back again? We spent so much making these things. He spoke about this. Now he's made these little things called GANSes and everything else. You remember?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The upheaval you and I created. You're a part of the whole, what do you call it, the structure, Kalabaru, as you say, yes?
Yes.
Huh? So
yeah,
you remember
sure.
when we introduced a new knowledge, because it was something they could not imagine. Now everybody is talking about it. This is after I opened the first teachings. It was gas reactors and things. Anybody is talking about them nowadays? No, because they've seen the process. The gas was there to create the gas, and now we have the gas. Now, in 3 years, we have matured the knowledge of the man to understand the purpose of this GANs was to create a free plasma, and how it is. We've seen the effects act in different ways. And now we know what it is, and from the knowledge of it, from the understanding of that, the effect of it, and understanding the egg and the sperm of a man is a GANs and it's got energy in it, we rotate it, we create a soul. Now we've entered the 3rd phase. We got nothing to do with the GANs. Now we're talking about the soul arm. But the soul of the man came from the creation of the GANs, of the sperm and egg. So this is where the confusion is. This 3rd cycle, now man has to attach to himself, is causing the man problem. This is our problem. We haven't changed course. We educated according to the understanding. So now we are talking about a free plasma which has no gas reactors. We're talking about the free plasma, there are no ganses and cores. We're talking about the free plasma, which is the soul of the man. You want to stick it in something, call it the brain of the man or the body of the man. When the reactor leaks and disintegrates, what's going to happen to the plasma inside it? It joins the rest of the fields of the universe. It doesn't disappear, it doesn't get destroyed. So the problem is we have changed the reactor, and this is what's created all the confusion. Now is the reactor is the brain of the man, and the content of it, the gans of it, is the fields which we call the soul of the man. So where is the problem? You want to test it, expand it, reduce it, get the apple moved, taste the apple by looking at it, get yourself flown to the space. Now you have that capability. So what is the problem? Or you think because we didn't know much about it past 2 years, I prefer not to touch it because then it shows my stupidity or my lack of understanding. Nobody is stupid. Nobody is the lack of understand. Now we have to understand that each one of us has a reactor inside it called our soul, us, our creation. This is the problem.
Yeah, it becomes a problem of too much freedom in a way, because all of a sudden.
What's the problem? Too much freedom. Have you seen anybody putting a shackle?
It's like when I first encountered the idea that you stated of when somebody asked how many types of reactors are there, and you stated there's as many types of reactors as there are stars in the universe, and that was mind-opening to contemplate that there could be that many. But the more I learn about the technology, I realize, yes, there can be that many. But then you can also sort of leapfrog past all those physicality type reactors and go straight for the free plasma in oneself, which is a higher game, you could say. It's a different viewpoint, a different perspective. And that's what you seem to be pursuing more in the later times here. Is that sort of correct in a way?
That's all it is, because now you're educated. You can. Do you want to stay always in class 1 or in the nursery? Or you say, I got the knowledge, I want to go into a higher class?
The thing is, like you mentioned, the reactor, with the gases and spinning and so on. I mentioned this to Guy the other day, and I was thinking, boy, I wouldn't mind getting a reactor going with those gases and vacuum and all that again. It'd be kind of fun.
Do you remember you put a box with a little thing hanging on it, and you were so happy you could have a smaller thing that it could rotate?
Yeah, there's many different creations that came and went during that time, and some brilliant ideas in their own realm, which is one of those stars of the universe out there somewhere. But do we want to dwell on the sort of the old dead stars, or do we want to focus more on the ones that are being born now and have more potential, have more more higher purposes and so on involved? So it's a different ball game, you might say, or as they say. It's not just the same ball game, but a different inning, but a whole different ball game, whole different type of operating, it seems. So where do we go?
Mr. Cash, I have a question. I forgot about this. It just came to my mind. What is the effect of alcohol on the soul? Hello?
I think we lost Mr. Kesh there for a moment. Are you back, Mr. Kesh?
Yes,
Mr. Kesh,
yes.
what is the effect of alcohol on the soul? Because in Christianity, Judaism, they don't ban it. In Islam, there was in the beginning they didn't ban it, but later on in Quran they say no alcohol. So what is the reason they ban it? And
Alcohol is to do with the physicality. It's to touch the soul of the man. It's the extra sugar. We have taught to the knowledge, what do you call it, the emotions, how to create and control the effect and operation of their soul. How they can use initially the structure of their body to expand the dimension of their souls or the interaction of their souls with their environment. These kind of teaching will come gradually into public. They've been taught how to be able to allow their souls to expand beyond the dimension of their physicality, but understanding in collaboration with the others, they can create a structure. Or accounting with their own action, they can create a structure. The past 6 weeks of teaching, starting in Accra, has always been that way. We said there will be no reactors, there will be no, what do you call, gases and ganses. Because if you look at the gases and the ganses, at the end of it, they are fields. And the brain of the man is such a strong field, such a center of the energy of this, more than the sun, that he doesn't need these things. If you need ganses to make this and that, and your sun, which is the soul of the man, has that power, why do you look for a lower order when you can play with the master? We try to teach from now on how you, let me explain something very simple for those of you who don't understand. And I'll explain this many, many times. The ray of the sun, in traveling, in interaction with the solar, with the fields of the earth, leads to the creation of the water, whatever, which we see on this planet. If you can manage, and now that you know your soul is in the center of your brain, and you can create through the lower energy in the hand of yourself, another earth structure field, what do you call it, interaction, you can create water in your hand. You can literally sip water of the palm of your hand. Because you create the energy in the palm, which is equal and opposite to what is coming from the soul, which is stronger. The sun is your soul, and the earth is the fields in the palm of your hand. You can drink water till the cows come home. Because you haven't, or you don't know, then it creates you a problem, but it's a difference. But this time, the earth is free moving, but with you, you hold the earth in your hand and the position where you want it to be. And that's what you have to understand. We are shown the sun of life, which is the soul of the man. Now it's us to decide what we want and where we want it to be, the way we want it to be. As I said one day to one of my children, there are no nuts and bolts in the universe. We have created it. We have tied and shackled ourselves to physicality, and we have to find any excuse to be connected to it. Any other question? A lot of frightened souls, uncertain of the future. The future is safe, and the future is very clear.
Yes, there's a comment in the live stream. Trevor seems a bit worried. It says something has to change and change fast instead of promises for a better future which never comes.
35 days is fast enough. You got to remember, if crooks and what I call the charlatans and bandits like Mr. Lorenz and Delanois and what's his name, Braconier, were not there to just put all this rubbish out about us, this technology would have been in newspapers and magazines, and everybody else would have been benefited by it and would have been totally in different direction, the soul of the man. But there was a chance that this is what they wanted to do, making war arms to harm more. Maybe this was the best way, by creating all this mayhem in past 10, 12 years, allowed us, the man of peace, to take charge. Maybe that was the best path we could take, that we teach, and with it we could carry on further what man needs. We have to, don't have a fear. The biggest fear we should have is, what are we going to do when we succeed? Not if, when we succeed, because that's the only way to go anyway. I'll tell you what's going to happen with the peace on earth. Man will work, maybe if he's lucky, 1 day a week, maybe 2 days a week, very, very lucky. He has 5 days a week on his hand. He has enough energy to supply himself. He has enough food to eat. And he gets so bored that he goes out and help everything else that is not bored. There'll be nothing but the land of plenty, milk and honey, in the way that the milk and honey comes out of man not having anything to do. Those who are adventurous will take to space, and they come back. Those who are not, they find another way. We are happy with what we get and what we have. The biggest problem is, what are we going to do with the future to come? Many of you will fail. Many of you will never come back, because I tell you one thing, what I've seen up to now in past some 10 years, 12 years of teaching, man has had a habit of coming, stealing and going, and then feeling good with it. And then nobody knows. Just an excuse to do what you like. You have Keshe Foundation workshops. Make these workshops the workshops of peace, not making Ganses. Put the workshops of how we can create peace. How we can bring workshop of how do we touch, how we go, how we see the presidents and the rest. And I'll tell you something, the biggest fear of the president is to meet with a man. Because that way he has to become a man. And that way he becomes part of you. I wonder how many of you have the audacity to hold the hands president and say, come on, let's go and sign about peace for our nation. I'm sure Rouhani won't shake hand with me. And he'll count his finger if he's still there after I leave, that I haven't taken his fingers as a soul to for the signing. Any other question? I'll be there every day till the 2nd or 3rd of August.
Mr. Keshe, where are you going to be from now until the 2nd?
On the teachings every day.
On the teaching, okay.
We change all the teachings. The students have to come up with a way. It's exam time, and the exam is to bring peace. We teach different ways of reaching to achieve peace. If I'm not on the teaching, I'm somewhere in the background doing something to come. All the teachers, you have learned enough making Ganses and you've taught enough. I never knew Gans can be made for 3 years in 10 different ways, 1 million of different ways. You made a course, you spin them for peace and put zinc in it that it brings peace. Whatever you made is enough. Now you have to use the soul of the man.
Mr. Cash, John Wells asks, are we to stop producing GANS water to give to people to cure themselves?
What are you curing? Give it to the source to elevate. We see a lot of excuses not to do. Put all this energy in bringing peace. Find a way we can get our world leaders to sign for it. I've seen the beauty of it. I've seen what it does when you put a nation, a country away from arms. Any other question?
Mr. Cash, I have a question. Since people talk about giving GANs to cure, one of my, thought is, why in the world, when somebody gets sick or have some diseases, why nobody wants to die? Everybody wants to live. Dying is not a bad thing. Why is that?
Because it's been put to us as the end, and we don't like the end, huh?
I think people should be happy they're dying because they're gonna start a life.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to be a complete life.
So when you have a complete life, it means when you get sick and you're really gonna die.
It doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter how. A neutron hits an electron or whatever, or a car hits another car, whatever. The thing is, what do we get at the end of it? And now we know for the first time what is at the end. How fast do you want to become a star in the sky? Or you're happy with the star you are, but you don't see it yourself.
Mr. Cash?
Yes?
Good day, Mr. Cash. Here's Jalal.
Hi, Jalal.
Azar, she's taking all the plate. she gained much power. So I have three things.
I think that's what the marriage does.
We need to marry again. I have three things, Mr. Cash. Once, before I was judging people and judging everything, and from your teaching, you teach us not to judge anyone. Just give and don't expect to back. So I thank you for that, and so for so many things. The second thing, there is one question. It's about the delivery, the posts, the envelope. You speak about it before. If you address the envelope where it should go, or you just send it. But my question is, what about this innocent people who is dying on the war and all of that, and who is suffering? If they die, where they will be? In which position?
What do you mean by that?
Okay. It's the difference between death and suicide. You remember that teaching you tell us?
Yes.
When you die, you go direct to the address what you gain of your life. But when you suicide, you just send the envelope and could be go to the place, but maybe it takes so many times. My question is, what is about these poor people, the innocent people who is dying in the wars and all of this dilemma of wars and all of that, where they are, where they will be? And it's
they go according to what they have gained. I was explaining before somewhere. You know, when you're in a gun, when you're in the battle, you have to kill for you not to be killed. So what is priority? If you're good enough, the next one is gooder than you, better than you, or not. Or what do you want to do with it? What do you expect of staying alive to do with? What does it bring? Or can I go to the other dimension after being a soul to help in another dimension and back here where I am till I find a place where I want to be? There is a lot we need to learn.
Okay, the third question. Is there a question we didn't ask until yet?
Yes, many of them.
give me one of them.
I can ask a question, Jalal.
Go ahead, Azan.
Okay, this is a question, Mr. Cash. You know, we learned that there is no past.
Excuse me, why do I have to answer all the questions? Why don't you ask each other?
Mr. Cash, because you're the master.
No, I'm an ordinary man in ordinary clothes.
Okay, so I'm going to talk and you tell me if I'm correct or not then.
Oh my God, she finds a way around. No wonder you're a dentist.
Why?
I'll tell you one day. Don't forget my sister is a dentist. I know a lot of things about you, love.
Okay, Mr. Cash, for example, we don't have any past life, but before, when I thought I have past life, so when I met someone, I haven't even talked to them. Sometimes it happened, you don't, either you like them a lot or you don't like them, and you're wondering why is that? And then they told us, you know, in a past life, you had an encounterment with them and there wasn't a good relationship. That's why you don't like that person in this life. So what is the reason?
If you want to believe in that, so why are you asking questions? What
No,
about your past life?
No, I don't.
Because I don't believe in a past life, because I know how life is created. How can you have a past
So
when
I don't believe in
it's
it.
created out of the mixture of new?
No, I don't believe in it. But why is it that sometimes you meet someone and instantaneously, without even knowing how they are, you don't have a good feeling about them? Is it because of magnetical and gravitational?
This is the soul which measures it. We are looking for physicality, but your emotion transfers the energy which you receive. This is not for me.
Mr. Kesh, I will.
Yes. Can we have the dog to ask the question first, please? He's got something to say.
He's just worried about the cat. I will share something, and I think Azar will receive and Jalal will receive an answer to this. It's one of your writings, but I need to do the screen share. Just one moment, please.
Da, 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 da. Dee, 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 dee. We play music during the interval. Dee, 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 dee.
I'm going to have to send it to Rick to pick it up because I'm not managing to get it in.
Okay.
Do, do, do.
Note to the transcribers, please record this humming of Mr. Kesh, and I want to have an all hits record of Mr. Kesh's humming.
It's in your messenger, Rick. If you can go and pick it up because I cannot find my way how to get it to you otherwise.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
How long do I get a break, Madame De Rosa?
As long as Rick takes to go and fish it up. But I think you have a lot of explanations to do there because it's all compacted in the last part of it. And if it appears, can you still hear me?
Yes.
When it appears,
I've been hearing you for 27 years. I don't think I'm going to stop now.
Unless you go deaf. And you still will
hear the soul of the man. Carry on. Let's have a look.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of explanation in there, but I think you have to start opening the drawers of it. Because it really touches the soul of the man. And I used it yesterday partially in presentation, but I think you better go more into detail. And by the way, Mr. Kesh, I'm Caroline. I'm from the Universal Council. I do support you with your wish.
Thank you very much. And unfortunately, you're my wife. I'll bring you all my headaches. Have you received it, Rick?
Yeah, but it's in tiny wee text. I need to copy it and paste it into something that we can read it in here. So
that's why I could. That's why I couldn't do it, Rick. I'm relying on you.
There is a bigger understanding. There is a much wider understanding of the totality of the work of the soul of the man. In having the fear of where we came from and now we know, has led us to fear of where we are going. And we don't know. I have one message for those who are afraid of the future. What you had in this life, that accumulation of the energies of this planet, led to the growth of the man, to the body of the man. This time the same process will come, but this time without any burden, without any losses, without any pain. Because the dimension of physicality does not exist. And in so many ways, the totality is much, much more powerful than singularity. And it brings many changes, good changes, positive changes. And your life, in what you stored here, becomes the dimension and the size of the light that you'll create. When you look at the sky, you don't see all the stars the same shine, the same brightness. The ones who have gathered more on the time of departure, they gather much more stronger fields and they become brighter stars to shine. But the point is it worth it? This is a cycle of life. It's a cycle of existence in this dimension of universe. My wish is peace, and in time I will achieve it. And I know how to achieve it, but this time you have to do it, that it changes the grain of the man when you leave this nursery of the soul of the creation. Have you managed to change it?
No, it's not letting me copy it. I'll have to do it a little bit differently. Just be a minute.
Yeah, the 179 Knowledge Seekers workshop will be tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I will not be there, but a lot of you will. Those who are going to be teachers start teaching in how people, what you think, and what you as the students, as all we are going to work towards bringing the 190 people into one place. It's smaller than a wedding. Don't go the usual way, bombarding the presidents. They just block you. Find a way to serve the hearts of the president. They follow you.
Okay, I I believe I have it up here. If this is the document that you're interested in, is that the one, Caroline?
Yes, that's the document.
Where does this come from?
Oh, I just get things on my lap out of nowhere.
My God, I can't even remember writing this one.
I will read it for you, Mr. Kesh. I will be so happy to read it because the last is very.
Caroline, can you stabilize your microphone? We're getting a bunch of feedback happening, and
yes,
it's making noise there. Okay.
From Mr. Kesh, understanding the creation, the process of understanding is very simple. The process is, as I explained last time. I explain more in detail. We are created out of the rays within the center of the universe. In interaction and reduction in strength and division by the strength, in certain strength fields, in collection of the totality of the expansion of the universe. Some energies, some dynamic fields have come together over billions of years. These fields lead to the creation of what we call the sun. Where the plasma gathers together, the same process repeats again, because the sun is the same as the energy center of the universe. Now, the heavier, the larger amount of the energy which is collected in a span of the universe called the sun, that it radiates out does the same thing again. Radiates its fields out, and interaction with itself, with the fields of itself, leads to the creation of a planet. In that process of the creation of a planet, the same process happens again. In the interaction of the fields of the Earth, with its environment and cooling and exchange with the strength of the other things, in the environment of the space of the solar system, leads to creation of man, cell, matter, state. And that itself, in coming together and slowing down in certain ways, as we call, leads to the other sun, we call the soul of the man. This is the truth about the life and creation of the man. But if the soul of the man can understand and absorb, and he corrects with his conduct, he can become the strength of the field, and carry the strength of the field of the planet which came to its creation. And if the soul can understand, with the same process can interact and can correct, can absorb with itself the totality of the strength of what it needs, he shall become the sun. And then the same soul has the energy and it can absorb within the solar system. Within the galaxy shall become the center of the universe. This happens on Earth. We call it the rain, comes from, goes back to. In the solar system, we call it planetary system. We come from the rays, we become the planet, and we go back to the mother. The same thing happens with the galaxies, with the solar systems, which they get absorbed back in, and they are chewed up back into the universe. The life, the courses of existence in the universe is the same. It doesn't matter on what exchange or what extent. So what is the mind fighting for? Why do we fight for something which has come from the point of creation, and in the process it goes back to the creation? The soul of the man, as the energy of the earth, gives the face of the man, the face of the earth, and that process is the same for the soul of the man. Our soul, in the reduction in strength, in interaction with the emotion of the fields of the environment, leads to the manifestation of the existence of the man. But once it's completed, does it need the face? Or can it be and become free from what we call the soul of the man? Be free and detached from this existence. Our soul is part of the process of creation. The key to one question for man shall be in the future to be answered. As we saw the sun became the earth, and as we saw the earth became the man's soul, what will be the destiny of the soul of the man now becomes free. At the point of departure of physicality, would it become the sun for creation of another life, or many lives, or correction of lives? This shall be, and this is how it happens. When you create a soul which is not correct, which is misconduct by itself cannot give, you lead to the creation of the next cycle of creation, which has started the wrong way, the wrong strength. This is one thing the man has never understood. You become the creator of another universe, another cycle, and this is what you have to judge within the structure of the soul of the man. What would you like that cycle to be? And I really would love you to open this up, as this is part of the peace process. Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh.
This is what we have said many times. This is a cycle of life. This is a cycle of existence that in certain strength we call it the life of a man. if we change anything in this structure, we will end up with something which is very bizarre. And the bizarreness with it is that what are we going to do with all these fields which we have brought together? What would be their function? What would be their effect? What would they create? And would the creation be to serve another being? What we'll come to understand is we have prepared man with these teachings in how to enter the space. Man has tried for past 40, 50 years in every way, shape and form to get himself off this planet. Past 100 years, 200 years, has tried every way, every shape to get away a few meters up. But it has to come back down because it's got attachment to the material part of this planet. It needs the conversion of one matter to another for it to gain heights. With this teaching, we show the man is become independent of the position and time and the place anywhere in the universe. We have given the key to the freedom of the soul of the man, and with it, the freedom that the man can choose his physicality at the point of the observation. This is the biggest gift we could give humanity. And one day man understands. Freedom of the choice, freedom of the space, freedom of the time, where and who and the way it wants to manifest itself. And if in time it has and it becomes the creator and decider of his own position, will become the center of a star. We have a huge problem in what we have endeavored in, and you don't want to know. If I tell you in what we are teaching man, what creates and will become the biggest problem for us in dimensions of the universe, you will be shocked. I tell you what it is. It's very much like you open a factory, you make everything, and then you have nothing. Because what you plan to do with what you created has decided itself by somebody else to be given out freely where you were not expecting it because you were planning something else for it. We see the soul of the man, those who decide to be a part of this planet, to become the seeds of the soul of the universe. Now we teach the man to be free from here, and we give him the dimension. Maybe it's thanks to what the humanity has done for the universe in being the nursery of the souls for such a long time. Maybe we are here to teach, to thank for what your forefathers have done. But on the other hand, what we want to guarantee and assure is that when you are given the gift of freedom of the universe, the man does not abuse the freedom. This is our biggest problem. We allow nothing, we gift everything. The freedom is for the man. You enter a new dimension. Up to now, up to today, up to the past 6 months, man had no choice what his soul will do. Man was a slave to death for the freedom of his soul. And then he had the choice, if he had the choice, to be free and become part of something else. We have given the gift of the freedom to the soul of the man from now on to choose his own time and his own place. This is the gift. This is where the change is. This is what it means. The cycle to be. This is the cycle of life. This is what is the gift. Maybe for what the forefathers of man have done in nourishing the universe with the souls of their own offspring, now we give the man The next step, to be free to choose where he wants to be, that his offsprings will come, or he become the center of the star or the soul. The problem with man is he always expects something back for what he's doing or is giving. And now man has the total freedom. You had to die to free your soul that it could be somewhere. Now you don't need to die. You can decide where they can be. It's the freedom which is the man is scared of, and you will fight it in every shape and form. Do you need a car? Do you need to be fed? Do you need to go sick? Do you need to be in the need of energy when you can change, reverse, convert your own physicality according to your soul? If you have a cancer and you can change your body back to your soul and then with it manifest yourself in another shape, would you carry cancer? This is what I was explaining many times, and people just look for machines to do something. If you go to the next level of understanding, there shall be no deaths, there shall be no illness. You lose an arm, you retract your physicality within the soul of yourself in the dimension of existence of the fields, and then you remanifest yourself with arm. No one shall be without arm. Many of you, with the teachings which I start doing from tomorrow when I come on, will see how you can do it. I teach you how to convert your physicality in the dimension of the energy of the soul and remanifest yourself in a dimension without cancer, without pain, without hunger, without worrying about what the warmth is, without understanding a single thing about suffering. Because there shall be no suffering from there on. This is what I teach from now on. You make machines, I've taught you guns, coils, you go and get chemotherapy, but if you understand how you can expand the dimension of your souls or absorb your field, because this is what's going to happen to you in the space, you remanifest yourself without a cancer. This is what the man should understand. This is the teaching of the new cycle for man. There shall be no hunger because you absorb from the fields. You don't need ganses. At the moment there is a debate, oh, the guy doesn't eat for 20 days, 100 days, no food. If you can expand the extension of the souls in the dimension beyond the physicality, you absorb what you need and you feed your physicality through your soul. You don't need to eat nothing. This is what we are trying to teach and we have taught to the motions. This is the next step. This is the step that you have to have no fear of somebody dying or killing. I can get into the soul of every world leaders, then it becomes magic. It's not going to work this time. You want peace, you want to change the course, learn how your soul works, learn how easily you don't even need to stand outside the presidential palace. You give, you extend your soul, and you literally take the soul and the physicality with it, walking up the steps to sign the peace. You thought you had a problem with understanding GANs and now soul. Now your biggest problem is what this thing can do. No dimension and no limit. This is the beauty of what is on the table to come. Tomorrow and the days after, I teach you how to convert your physicality into the soul of the man. Some of you will succeed, and some of you will think this is impossible, I can't do it. It means your soul has not matured enough to accept that you can move, be free, and not to be in the shackles of existence. You thought up to now was hard, the easy times come. But this time, I don't do any magic. The magic is yours. You understand the magic of existence, the life in the universe. Have you seen any donkeys walking around the space, or has anybody seen a four-wheel car? Man chose this path, and now it's time to move man on. That's how it is. That's how it shall be. I teach you, those who want to be, to become the soul of themselves, and then they manifest themselves in what they like. Then they can absorb the energy, what they need, and when they come to physicality, there is no hunger. I wonder how beautifully the naked body of a man will look when you cannot even see it, but you're aware of his existence. The true teaching starts from now on. As they say, the tea break is over. Now it's time down to get to the work. Any other question?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Kesh. This is Gatua.
Yes, Dr. Gatua.
Yes, I have a question. You said that the reason that we are here is the soul of man will be used to become a new seed of life.
Yes.
Or something to that effect.
Yes, in the universe.
Yes, in the universe. And I was, from my agricultural perspective, I was wondering how about the souls of plants, for example, or animals for that matter.
Oh, you don't want to know that. Do you want to know? Very
Yes,
easy.
I do.
How many stars are in the sky?
Uncountable. We can't count them.
You think all those come from the few numbers of the souls of man?
That's what I was wondering.
Now you got your answer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh. And thank you again for your enlightening teachings to humanity and your call and wish for peace.
Now
and may
we
your
act
wishes
to get peace.
be your commands.
Now we should. Thank you very much. From tomorrow we act to create peace. No visuals, understanding the extent. In a way, there is a lot to be done. I try to come into the teaching. I try to spend time to teach, but use it for the progress of man, for peace. The peace means not what you think, no wars and no killing. The peace means having enough that the soul of the man receives enough that it does not need to look for anything in its existence. Any other question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh.
Thank you, Dr. Gata.
I'm wondering if we'll be broadcasting on all the regular channels tomorrow. That would be like live stream and so on.
I received something very interesting. This is what is being put out by Mr. Lorescence. It reads, free energy guru empty cash may serve prison time after yesterday court that Mr. Lorescence have done. Cash and wife Caroline De Rosa may serve prison time after yesterday court case. That's done by Mr. Lorescence. Mr. Lorescence has forgotten one thing. He's committed himself to something by himself, and that is he will be serving a very, very long time. We want to be sentenced. That's how we're going to get rid of these people. And secondly, I'm not guru, and the accusation is that we have practiced medicine and we have what do you call it, scammed. The contract which is written by Mr. Lorescence is a scam. So he's coming into the court to say how he's written a scam because people read it and they didn't see that the contract was a scam. So the guru will never go to prison. The guru was waiting for this to put the criminals in prison. For 12 years we've been waiting, 15 years we've been waiting, to get to be heard in the court. Now they gave us a chance. We shall be heard. And Mr. Lorenz, I have a very good news for you. You did the best favor for humanity. I told you, the 11th floor is too low for you to fall. You have to fall from the skies beyond. And this is very interesting, how this is another line of discrediting. Man, we don't get discredited, we are there to do. We will do. And we said, we are not going to prison, we want to be sentenced. And I've never seen a criminal wanting to be sentenced more than me. Because the King of Belgium is following his soldiers. But I'm inviting him to come and sign for peace before his people go to prison for what they've done. Thank you very much, Mr. Lorenz. You did a very good favor for yourself.
Mr. Kesh,
Yeah.
it's Carol.
Yes.
If you remember the hesitation of the knowledge seekers when we start talking about Alan Sterling, we had the same problem, that nobody could even imagine that this person was what he is and that he went where he is now. So people never took it so serious.
Let me tell you, I'm going to go somewhere and come if I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to go. I have to find. I cannot go. I'm in Zoom. There is a what do you call? We're going to show you where Mr. Lorenz will end up. In Belgium, not really, but we have received from American federal agencies the condition of Mr. Sterling. Mr. Sterling was worse than Dirk, the things he wrote. And at the moment, we can give you can write to him and ask him how many children he exchanged with Mr. Lorenz. He's in penitentiary in United States, and on his application, on his document, it reads parole dash non-applicable. And Mr. Lorenz worked very closely with him, very intensively with him, to make sure everything is done wrong. And we have seen him. I have no problem. I would like to be sentenced. I've never seen a criminal who wants to be sentenced, because with this sentencing, we
I think we lost you, Mr. Kesh. He keeps on disappearing, but he will reappear.
Yes, indeed. Maybe we could get you to to hum a tune, Caroline.
I would suggest to a lot of our team workers maybe to create small teams to be ready when the peace is achieved, to start supporting the governments and show them the path how to walk with the knowledge to avoid a lot of suffering in their own countries. I think if we really offer our knowledge in exchange for the peace, and when it's achieved, we should have teams in place that we can guide the governments and educate them and educate the soldiers that they don't go jobless, but that they know they have a new structure in life, and we can guide them with our knowledge. What we gathered over these years, we can show them and we can teach them how to become new teachers. And we can follow them, and we have already so many knowledge seekers on the road teaching. Why don't we go and see where we can start teaching our own and guide them that they can serve a better purpose than carrying a gun? Thank you.
Caroline, can you briefly tell people how they can access the Universal Council? We have someone that can't find the application form.
There is one secretary appointed, which is Sandy, and I will ask Vince to start maybe even now, if it's possible, to put all the contact coordinates out in public before closing of this teaching, and starting first thing tomorrow morning, that everybody can find its path to the people which are working for peace. Say it for the Earth Council, say it for the Universal Council or the core teams. We are very visible in Facebook. So whoever is connected in the chat rooms of the Universal Council chat Facebook, you can start asking your questions in Messenger. Most of the Universal Council members are already in place to support in their own language. So you don't need to go and start getting in problem because you're not capable to type in English or Portuguese or French. So I have guided most of the members already 2 weeks to go into their own Facebooks, into the social media, to connect with their own people that they can support and guide them where and how to reach us. And please, knowledge seekers, we request to come on board as support members of Universal Council. And please, Vince, if you can put the information out that people know where to find us. I've just given you a social platform, which is Facebook. Everybody is familiar with it. There are about 20, 30 chat rooms in all languages available, even for doctors, for emergency. We open at request.
They're all called Universal Council, correct? So if they search for Universal Council in Facebook for the groups, they should find that.
And secondly, they can even find their language. So it's Universal Council, the language, and then language chat room, KFSSI. So if they don't find, they can come through Messenger, go through my Facebook, don't ask to become a friend, please, because my Facebook is full, but you can always reach me through Messenger. You leave a message, you want to be connected to your language, I connect you straight away. And there are thousands of people which are working in these chat rooms, and they will be really helpful to guide you through it, and even in your own language. So you don't need to be scared that you cannot express your wishes. There are translators in the background. We have a full team of translators which will come in to guide you, and we are there to serve you. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Caroline. Mr. Kesh, are you there now?
Yes, I am there. When I see injustices to humanity, it brings really stress on that how we have allowed these people to rule. We start from tomorrow morning, as we said. Every plan, every action, everything is needed to bring about world peace starts from tomorrow. The target is 2nd, 3rd of August of this year, within the next 35 days. See if we can bring one world leader to sign a world peace treaty. We can concentrate on one at a time, two at a time. You choose which two and where. We start from tomorrow morning. Sort out the plan that with it we can bring peace. And I hope, as I've said many times, I hope we manage this time to change the course. We don't need guns and arms to build parks. We don't need arms and guns to make buildings. We don't need arms and guns to build roads. We don't need arms and guns to plant a tree. We don't need arms and guns to make computers. And we can put all our energies into these.
May I remind you, Mr. Kish, do you remember that we start receiving what they can convert from military material?
Don't touch. Yes, okay, I can do. Caroline knows. I tell you what it is. Many times I've told you, I've been man of peace, and this is not the first time. What Caroline said, you remember what we do? We converted the tools of war. When the Eastern Bloc opened up, as one of and some of the major richest people in Europe, we decided to change things in the Western Europe, in the Eastern Europe. I used to work in communist nations when it was communist. And my friends, in so many ways, at that time we didn't have businessmen. We only had one choice. We dealt with military when it was a communist time. Head of militaries did the deals with us. So when the change came, suddenly there was no militaries. We had arm factories, which the military needed to feed their soldiers. I sat in many meetings with the top military people, who now some are the heads of states in the world, in the ex-communist time. I sat with people like Yeltsin and finding a solution. We could not see. These were all military people who came, they were in power, but they wanted to feed their soldiers. They were suffering. We came with one solution. We looked at how can we feed the military. We went into factories in Eastern Bloc. As Caroline can tell you, we have said this many times before. As we walked into the armament tanks manufacturers, we walked into all sorts of military vehicles manufacturing, gun manufacturing, tank manufacturing, everything else. We said, what can we do? Nobody wants Russian tanks anymore, and nobody wants Czech Republic this, and nobody wants Polish whatever. We looked at what we can do. A team of us became geniuses in conversion, and they took a lead. Boxes from armament and ammunition, they were very thick. They made a beautiful, what did we make with them, Caroline?
We made them the buckets we used to use to carry the milk.
No, the boxes, the boxes, the wooden boxes.
Oh, pianos.
Pianos.
And clocks.
We made out of the casting for the tank engine, the music box of the pianos. We made, as Caroline said, metal covers. We made them into buckets, milk buckets, galvanized milk buckets. Do you remember how many in the tank, in the trailer?
I don't know, but it was very heavy.
20,000, 30,000 buckets per truck. We created a lot of jobs. We converted tools of war to boxes of music. We changed what used to be cheap plastic into clocks. Everything which could possible, we converted military. So I know it can be done. We talk.
Even the uniforms.
Yes.
The uniforms can be reused, and the shoes.
And the shoes. How many shoes did we change from British prisons into most beautiful shoes in Moscow?
I don't remember. We had so many. I just remember.
Yes, carry on.
I just remember one very nice story about the buckets, and that is that when they were overloaded to another truck, they didn't position them the right way. And the first bend the truck did, the buckets just all tilted over onto one side. So the truck had to stop, offload all the buckets, But because the buckets carry a kind of a grease, the ones who offloaded the truck came off that truck as black as anything. And we were absolutely in stitches because it was hilarious. But they managed to reorganize the truck. But these are the memories which came back that we convert. We can convert everything. So they should not be afraid. There will be plenty of jobs to do. And as you said before, you can convert the soldiers in what their ability has been in the training in the army to become teachers. We can send them out to schools to train people to go wherever they are needed as a piece of army.
So when we speak about there is a time for change, we can show the world leaders. And we still got one of those pianos. Pianos that time were expensive things to have. You could buy a piano now for €299. There are many pianos made out of the tools, boxes of weapons in the houses of Belgium, Germany, Holland, England, France. We shipped in truckloads. And they were happy people. The soldiers had job, the factories had job. So when we talk about peace, we know what it means. And when we say it can be done, it should be done, and it can be done. We are people who've been involved in it, and we have done it. And we've seen so much pleasure it has brought to so many families that they can feed their people. Now you understand. We are not talking just to talk. We've been the man who's done the walk. And it's so easy. Let's get the world leaders to Haifa. And first of all, let the owner of the land knows we are coming. Thank you very much for today. See you tomorrow. As usual, teaching time. But this time, the only teaching is how we can bring the world leaders to peace. And don't go for a whole 199. Get them one at a time to come and sign. And the easy ones are the Africans. The leaders of the West are too spoiled, too much bribed, and too many pleasures free ride. Thank you very much for indeed for today. And please, and I tell you again, do not worry about me going to prison. I'm more worried in what our children will have in their hands in the next 10, 20 years if we fail to bring peace. Those of you who write, I might go to prison, they know exactly the prisons for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. And remind people that we'll be broadcasting again at 10 a.m. CET time till 5 p.m. CET, I believe. And we'll keep that up until further notice. And that should end the Knowledge Seekers Workshop, the 178th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, June 29th, 2017. Blueprint for Peace for Humanity. Thank you, everybody, for attending. And we'll end the live stream now and then the Zoom as well.